Hello, everybody. Triple L, can you hear me at all? Because I'm having to do different headphones here.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Okay, I just posted in chat. I want to see if you can hear me or not. Because unfortunately I had okay, let's see. Let me see if you got that. I want to see if you can talk again, Triple L. Oh, okay, so you can hear me. Oh, there you are. You are on camera. Okay, let her figure those things out. So I had a new headphone set, a few months ago that I was using, but I had gone on vacation for like a month, and then when I got back, can't find the adapter for the headset. So I'm using my old headset and then the mic on my laptop right now. I'm hoping, I think I know where the adapter might be. And I'm hoping to find it here in the next couple of days. Triple L, you're still on camera. If you want to be on camera, that's fine. I'll just give you a second to add you to the stage here. While she gets set up, just want to kind of give you guys a rundown here. So we today are going to be discussing the case of Kouri Richens, who is accused of the murder of her husband, of Eric Richens, back in March of 2022. She wasn't arrested until I think like May of 2023. So a little over a year had passed. In the meantime, she had written a children's book about grief. I'm not entirely up to speed on this case really at all. So I don't know why it took them a year to get things figured out and to do the arrest. So right now we're going to start from the beginning. I have a timeline that starts before his death and then goes up to current date that we'll read. And then I have her the search warrant, and
Can you hear
then
me?
her first. Yeah, I can hear you. And then I have a video of her first court appearance. She is due to go to trial next month. I think I can't remember the date. I think it's towards the end of the month. So I think so, but we'll figure that out as we go along. Towards the end of the month. So I think so, but we'll figure that out as we go along. Triple L, I can hear me. We'll figure that out as we go along.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but I can also hear me.
I still can't hear on the laptop. Ugh. Let's see.
Okay, so this is the Kouri Richens complete timeline in the murder case. And just kind of let me know when you're ready there, Triple L. Okay, that's fine. I'll just go along here. I'm gonna read this. Okay, yeah, go ahead and listen on phone, whatever works for you. Do you know much? You probably know a little bit more about this case than I do. You're muted.
Sorry. I was
Okay.
trying to connect to YouTube. I know a little bit. Just like the other day, I pretty much just. I was trying to connect to YouTube. I know a little bit. Just like the other day, I pretty much just. I was trying to connect to YouTube. I know a little bit. Just like the other day, I. Just, I was trying to connect to YouTube. I know a little bit. Just. Oh gosh, it keeps echoing. I don't know what's going on.
You'll figure it out. But you know a little bit. What did you say something about the other day?
Yeah, I just know like just the kind of gist of it, what she did, and what they're claiming that how
Yeah, I
she
just
did
know
it.
like just the kind of gist of it, what she did, and what.
Yeah, so the
I'm sorry, it keeps
prosecutors.
echoing because I think I'm listening on the phone.
They're claiming that. Yeah, I just know like just the kind of gist.
Yeah, so
I'll let you go ahead and start it.
That's okay. Yeah, so they're claiming that she poisoned him with a drink. She had made him that night before. I believe they called it a Moscow Mule. there's also a possibility of drugs being involved. I know there's been some controversy about whether or not the individual that sold her the drugs or that was a third party in selling the drugs is going to testify or not, because I guess he confessed or something, and then he recanted recently or something like that. So we will get that all figured out, but I will go ahead and read this. So this is the Kouri Richens complete timeline in the case. And it starts from August 2nd of 2023 and goes up until last month. So, and this is a case out of Utah. Kouri Richens, a Camas, I hope I'm saying that right, Camas woman who wrote a children's book about coping with grief after her husband's death, became a national celebrity, but not for her book. Richens is on trial for the murder of her deceased husband. Kouri Richens, age 34, was initially charged with aggravated murder, first-degree felony, and 3 counts of possession with intent to distribute. She was later charged with an additional count of attempted aggravated murder, 2 counts of mortgage fraud, 2 counts of insurance fraud, and 3 counts of forgery. Kouri Richens has denied the claims and pleaded not guilty to all charges. And then here it's the timeline of events with information from court documents, hearings, and civil cases. So years before the murder, on June 15th, 2013, Kouri and Eric Richens are married. Kouri and Eric signed a prenup that outlined several financial agreements for their marriage. It detailed that several assets would remain in Eric's ownership if they divorced. However, Kouri Richens could claim ownership of some of the assets if Eric should die prior to Kouri while the two are lawfully married, the prenup states. The list of assets included Eric's 50% ownership interest in C&E stone masonry, a forklift, skidster, scaffolding and saws, 2 trucks, and a dump trailer. According to a petition filed by Eric's sister, Kouri Richens Benson, Kouri began having financial troubles and allegedly began taking money from Eric to help with buying and selling homes. In March 2019, according to Katie's petition, Kouri opened a bank account without Eric's knowledge or consent, which had a revolving line of credit, and borrowed $250,000. She allegedly did this with a deed of trust in which Kouri signed Eric's signature. Lord. September of 2020, according to Katie's petition, Eric learned Kouri had withdrawn $100,000 from his bank accounts, allegedly borrowed $30,000 in total on his credit cards, and borrowed money using a fraudulent power of attorney. He allegedly confronted Kouri, and she promised to pay it back. However, Katie said she never did. According to Katie, in total, Kouri Richens allegedly stole or misused approximately $494,000 of Eric's money, the petition asserted. This does not include Kouri's claim for over $3.6 million. Okay, I got you back. Everything okay?
I think we're good now. Yes.
Hold on a second. I got a cough. Okay. In October of 2020, Eric reportedly consulted a divorce lawyer and an estate planning lawyer. He changed his will and formed the Eric Richens Living Trust, placing his estate under the control of his sister Katie for the primary benefit of his 3 children. He also transferred his partnership interest in his business to his trust and designated the trust as a beneficiary of his $500,000 life insurance policy instead of Kouri. So in 2022, so January, we're leading up to the murder now. So January 1st of 2022, Kouri allegedly changed the beneficiary for Eric's $2 million life insurance policy to herself without authorization. The original beneficiary was Eric's business partner. This came to the attention of the insurance holder, and Eric's business partner was restored as the beneficiary. Late January of 2022, Kouri allegedly contacted her friend several times asking if she could get a prescription for pain medication for an investor who had a back injury. Okay. Whatever, dude. Some hydrocodone pills were left at a Midway house that Kouri was flipping, and Kouri allegedly left cash for them. February 11th of 2022, Kouri allegedly reached out to the same friend and asked if she could get something stronger, referring to it as some of the Michael Jackson stuff. Jeez. Prosecutors say the friend gave Kouri 15 to 20 fentanyl pills, which Kouri allegedly paid $900 for. Oh my God. She had an expensive habit.
Do you think she was doing it too? You think?
I would suspect so. She's running through money like crazy.
That's crazy.
I mean, yeah, she was, probably paying to flip those houses and stuff, but doing all this financial fraud.
Yeah.
And that, I'm guessing that supposed friend is the one that's in controversy right now, that I don't know if they're going to testify or what's going on there.
Okay.
It's February 14th of 2022. Eric and Kouri had a Valentine's Day dinner at their Kamas home. The charging documents stated, shortly after the dinner, Eric allegedly became very ill and told a friend he thought his wife was trying to poison him. Yeah, I remember that. They suspected she tried to do it once, didn't succeed, so she tried again.
Yeah.
On February 26th, she did it of all days on Valentine's Day. That's just cruel. February 26, 2022, Kouri allegedly contacted her friend again and asked for another $900 worth of fentanyl pills. The friend allegedly left the pills at the same Midway house. March 3rd of 2022, Kouri said she and Eric were celebrating her closing on a house for her business. She said she made Eric a Moscow Mule in the kitchen and brought it to their bedroom, where he drank it in bed. He also consumed a THC gummy. Kouri said shortly after, she went to put one of her children to bed and fell asleep. March 4th of 2022, Kouri said she woke up around 3:22 a.m. and found Eric Richens deceased at the foot of their bed and called 911. Following an autopsy, it was determined that Eric died from an overdose of illicit fentanyl. There you go. Medical examiner said the fentanyl in his system was approximately 5 times the lethal dosage.
Wow.
According to the ME, the fentanyl was ingested orally.
Yeah.
So now
Probably
we're
his
going to
drink.
jump to, what's that? Yeah, in his drink.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So now we're jumping to 2023, almost a year later. February of 2023, Kouri filed a claim against Eric's trust, contesting Eric's sister as his personal representative of his trust. April 19th of 2023, Kouri emailed Summit County to explain her exotic vacations since her husband's passing, his alleged affair, I didn't know that, her mental health, their lack of financial problems, okay, she has financial problems,
right,
and her work ambitions. Yeah. Maybe I'll pull up what she said here later. On May 8th of 2023, Kouri was arrested for aggravated murder and 3 counts of possession of drugs with intent to distribute. June 9th of 2023, Kouri filed a civil lawsuit against Eric's estate, alleging she deserves several monetary and or physical assets according to their prenup. And then we'll go to August 18th of 2023. The state of Utah announced it will not seek the death penalty in its prosecution. This decision was made in careful consultation with Eric Richens' father and his 2 sisters, who are Eric Richens' personal representative and victim representative, respectively, stated court documents. According to court documents, this means Kouri's charge of aggravated murder is now a non-capital first-degree felony and is punishable with 25 years to life in prison if she is found guilty.
It's crazy.
I should have connected to Facebook.
That's what I did too. That's the first time I've ever done it.
Are you connected on Facebook?
I did it just a minute ago.
Oh, because now I see these, like, I see it now. And are you also streaming on your YouTube?
I think so.
Okay.
Do you know how to do
I
it?
hadn't seen.
I accidentally. Where did I go? Down by maybe the comment thing? The comment box I could get on there? I can't remember now how I did it. It said something like connect or share. I think it's down there by the comment box.
I think I'll do it for the next one. I don't want to mess up this, because gosh knows if I tried, then it'll be like everything will disconnect or something will happen.
Yeah, that's what happened to me a minute ago when I got cut off.
And right now my StreamYard memory bank is full. And so it's not recording on StreamYard's end because it's too full. So I have to go in and get that.
Is it because you have to put the stuff you're going to use for the video in it? Is that how it gets filled up?
No. Well, no. It's like, I think I only have so many hours I can have on it.
Okay.
Like 50 hours or something like that. So I just have to go in and delete old streams.
Oh, okay.
That's all. But
I couldn't even remember how to use it a while ago. It's been so long since we've been on here.
Yeah. It has been a long time, unfortunately. We've had
Lots have happened.
both you and I have had lots of happen. But now we're getting back into the groove of it.
Yes, knock on wood.
Oh, I'm glad I got the banner running again. I didn't even notice that. Okay, good. But my point was saying with the StreamYard memory bank being full is that if I try to do anything, I won't have the stream to go back on StreamYard.
Oh, gotcha.
All right, so back we go. So we're going to do September 18th of 2023, a document often referred to as the Walk the Dog letter. And I haven't read that. I've heard that's
I haven't
been
either.
in controversy too. Services in which Kouri appears to be telling family members how to testify in court. Prosecutors said the letter was blatantly witness tampering and filed a motion to prevent Richens from having contact with family members. I'm going to click on that. Let me see.
I kind of remember now that coming up. I've never read it, but it's been so long since when this started, and I can't remember what was going on at the time that I was into.
Well, it's 2023, so it could have been Idaho 4, right?
Probably was.
Or Murdaugh.
Yeah, probably. And then what was his name? Gosh, I saw him on there on YouTube like yesterday, something going on with him. Oh, the tattoo killer, Wade Wilson.
Oh, yeah.
That might have been going on. I can't remember.
I'm looking. I clicked that link. I want to see if it pulls up the letter. Okay, hang on.
Is it still raining there?
It was a few minutes ago.
I think it kind of stopped here.
Oh, I have to stop sharing that, don't I? Stop screen. Okay.
Oh, I missed what you were saying. Did you find your headset? Or you didn't find the plug or something?
I haven't found it yet.
No?
But I also haven't
Completely unpacked.
pulled out that suitcase yet.
Uh-huh.
Because I just haven't I haven't put, my entertainment stuff back out. Okay, oh my gosh, I've got it's taken its sweet time trying to do this. Is this the one? Okay. So Kouri Richens accused of witness tampering after a letter found in her cell. All right. So the state of Utah has filed a motion in court to prevent Kouri Richens, the woman accused of poisoning and killing her husband with fentanyl, from contacting her mother and brother. The motion came after deputies at the Summit County Sheriff's Office conducted a search of Kouri Richens' cell. During the search, deputies found a 6-page letter titled "Walk the Dog," addressed to Richens' mother, Lisa, hidden in a book. In the letter, allegedly written by Richens, she instructs her mother to tell her brother how to testify to defense attorneys. The letter claims Richens' attorney, Sky Lazaro, wants to link Eric getting drugs and pills from Mexico, which caused his death. According to the letter, Richens wanted her brother to tell Lazaro that Eric confided to him. Oh, hang on. Okay, that Eric confided to him about getting high while the two were watching a football game. Her brother would be instructed to say Eric told him he got fentanyl from workers in Mexico and planned for Kouri to take the fall if he was ever caught. The testimony would include that Eric didn't want Kouri to know because she would get mad since he just gets high every night and won't help take care of the kids. Richens claims that her brother has texts and pictures to verify the testimony, however, tells her mother to tell her brother what to say in person. In the letter, Richens expresses a concern that her mother's house and phone could be bugged by investigators. Tell my brother not to overanalyze it. It was a quick 2-minute conversation. Lol. Tell him I need him to do this, Richens allegedly wrote. She reiterated that her brother would likely need to testify to the narrative, but it can be short and to the point, but has to be done. Richens says her mother needs to meet with her brother before his meeting with Lazaro, which is the attorney, and to take vague notes of the testimony so she can remember before she, quote-unquote, walks the dog. State prosecutors said the letter speaks for itself as evidence of witness tampering, claiming there is no link showing Eric getting drugs from Mexico. Prosecutors called the testimony a false narrative. The state is currently investigating further, according to court documents, saying it's unclear if Richens passed the exact letter or its contents to her mother or anyone else. Richens' defense attorney Lazaro said by submitting the letter, state prosecutors violated a gag order issued by the court in June, and the filing was improper on several fronts. It was an extrajudicial statement made for the apparent purpose of influencing court of public opinion, said Lazaro in a motion for contempt. Such behavior constitutes a blatant violation of the gag order, which the state requested in the first instance. The state's intention was to improperly file the letter to taint the media, the jury pool, the public narrative, and has added the consequence of potentially tainting expected witnesses in this matter. As part of her motion, Lazaro has requested the court to remove the walk the dog letter from the docket. According to court documents, the court has yet to rule on either motion, and there is the letter right there.
That's gotta suck that she can't talk to her family.
Well, don't do stupid shit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let me go back. So what I think we'll do now is, instead of going through more of the timeline, I'm going to stop there with that timeline.
Okay.
Pick it up on the next one, or a little bit further, however. And we're going to go now to the search warrant.
Okay.
The affidavit for search warrant.
And you said this trial starts in February?
Yeah, next
Right.
month. Mm-hmm.
I got a jury duty card for next month. I think
Oh,
it's
you
on
did?
Yes. I probably won't be picked. Go ahead.
Trent was able to get out of his jury duty, I think.
Yeah.
He went there and went to the court and did something.
I don't want to have to go, but I don't know. I feel like it's a duty that we should all try to do at least once, you know? We'll see.
Yeah. Have you ever been on a jury?
No, I've never been able to go to do it.
I have. It's a good experience. I enjoyed it.
I think it would be kind of interesting.
Yeah. I found it interesting that 12 people working together, you know, coming to, you know, the ultimate conclusion, but it's amazing to see everybody's memory. What one person doesn't remember, another does, and
yeah,
you know, in their feelings on certain things, and so
right.
you know, it's pretty amazing. You learn a lot.
I think it'd be interesting. I'll tell him I can't be here. I have a case to cover.
I'm covering a different jury trial. Right?
I'm very important.
Okay, so here we go. In the 3rd District Court, all department in and for Summit County, State of Utah, affidavit for search warrant. Okay, hopefully I can read this okay without completely butchering everything.
It's okay.
The undersigned affiant, Detective Jeff H. O'Driscoll of Summit County Sheriff's Office, upon an oath or written affidavit subscribed under criminal penalty, declares that your affiant has reason to believe that on the item or items described as a blue Samsung stylus cell phone with serial number redacted belonging to Lisa Darden. Who's Lisa Darden?
Serial belonging. I wonder what her mom's name is.
Oh, maybe. In the city of Park City, County of Summit, State of Utah, there is now certain property or evidence described as electronic documents, email, instant messaging, and text messages. 3, personal communications. Oh, that's duh. Personal communications. 4, internet history. Personal and business schedules, photographs, images, and video, contacts lists and phone numbers, call history, GPS location history, social media activity and messages, all other digital activities stored on the device. And that said property or evidence was unlawfully acquired or is unlawfully possessed, has been used or is possessed for the purpose of being used to commit or conceal the commission of an offense, or is evidence of illegal conduct. Affiant believes the property and evidence described above is evidence of the crime or crimes of aggravated murder, conspiracy to commit murder. The facts to establish the grounds for issuance of a search warrant are: I, Jeff Driscoll, attended the Weber State University Police Academy in 2015, where I was trained in multiple facets of law enforcement and criminal investigations. Prior to attending post, I obtained that. This goes through his. We don't really need to know all that. On March 4th of 2022 at 3:22 a.m., Summit County Dispatch received a 911 call from a female party, later identified as Kouri Richens, about an unresponsive male. The male was Eric Richens, Kouri's husband. Deputies and EMS staff responded to the residence to attempt life-saving measures. Life-saving measures failed, and Eric Richens was declared deceased. Deputies held the scene and requested the ME's office, as well as detectives from Summit County Sheriff's Office, respond to the scene. While waiting for detectives, the ME investigator, Deputy Wynn, conducted an initial interview with Kouri Richens. Kouri stated she, Eric, and Kouri's mother, Lisa Darden, there we go, Kouri's mom, had been celebrating Kouri closing on a house for her business the night before at around 9 p.m. Kouri stated they had to drink. They had a drink to celebrate. Kouri stated Eric then went to bed. Kouri stated she went in to sleep with one of their children due to the fact that the child has night terrors. Kouri stated she woke up around 3 a.m. and came back to she and Eric's bedroom. Kouri stated at that time she felt Eric and he was cold to the touch. That is when she called 911. After determining Eric's death was not likely due to natural causes, his body was transported to the ME's office to perform an autopsy. After approximately 3 weeks, toxicology findings from the autopsy were available. Okay. It was determined that Eric died from an overdose of fentanyl. When speaking to the ME's office, the doctor indicated the level of fentanyl in Eric Richens' body was approximately 5 times the lethal dose. The ME determined the fentanyl was illicit fentanyl and not pharmaceutical grade. It was also the opinion of the ME's doctor that the fentanyl had been ingested orally due to the gastric fluid contents. After receiving the information regarding the toxicology, a search warrant was obtained for Eric and Kouri's residence. During the service of that search warrant, Kouri's phone, as well as several computers, were seized as evidence. Warrants were obtained for all the electronic devices, and the information from those devices was downloaded to be investigated. When investigators went through the information from Kouri's phone, it appeared several text messages around the time frame from March 1st through March 15th had been deleted, the time surrounding Eric's death, but he was murdered the beginning of March. Several communications between Kouri and Blank were located. And I'm guessing that's the supposed friend. Through the course of the investigation, detectives began to investigate individuals close to both Kouri and Eric. During that time, Blank was identified as being a housekeeper, often used by Kouri for her residential real estate business. A police records check of Blank revealed multiple counts of possession of a controlled substance with intent to distribute, possession of a controlled substance, and possession of drug paraphernalia. Blank also had charges of theft, DUI, burglary, and aggravated assault. Due to the fact the fentanyl discovered in Eric Richens was illicit fentanyl, it was plausible that Blank was the source of the fentanyl. So it seems that this person is not new to law enforcement. They probably know what they're doing. Probably know what they're doing when they recanted their statement, is my assumption.
Yeah.
Excuse me. While conducting an investigation into blank was identified as an associate of blank. Blank has a chemistry degree and had been previously charged in Heber City with clandestine lab charges for operating a methamphetamine lab. It was also learned that blank has a boyfriend named blank who is currently incarcerated. Oh my God, this just keeps getting worse.
That's crazy.
Incarcerated at blank. After learning this information, detectives spoke to staff at, I'm assuming it's the facility, and requested phone calls blank made from March 1st through March 15th. During one phone call between blank and blank on March 2nd of 2022, blank answers the phone and states he is on a break from drug court. It was verified through court records that blank and blank were in drug court together at that time. At 2:32, 2 minutes and 32 seconds into the call, blank says, "Tell blank I say hi." A female can be heard in the background saying, "Hi, honey." Blank then responds by saying, "Hi, blank." On 3/3/2022, so this is a month after his death, blank called phone number that is one of the phone numbers investigators identified as belonging to blank. Grant states the call by saying, "Good morning, blank." The remainder of the call is discussing a possible mutual acquaintance. Blank call blank knows in prison. On 3/4/2022, blank makes a phone call to blank. During that phone call, blank and blank are discussing purchasing an Xbox controller for blank while he is blank 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 blank. Sometimes I wish it wasn't redacted so I could
Blankety blank
follow,
blank.
right? It'd be nice to easily follow along because now I'm confused who's calling who.
Right.
Blank makes the comment he would pay for the controller. Blank then responds by saying, "You or blank, one of the two." Blank then responds by saying, "I tried giving that bitch $100 yesterday and say, hey, let me pay you back. I'm paying you back." She's all, "What the fuck? No, you keep it. I just made $1,000 selling fucking fentanyl," or some shit like that. That call between blank and blank occurred the same day Eric Richens died.
Ow. Crazy. I didn't realize there was so much drug activity going on.
Yeah. On 3/27 of 23, blank was arrested on misdemeanor traffic offenses and booked into the blank facility. On May 2nd of 2023, myself and other detectives interviewed Blake while she was in custody. So it's a she. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Post Miranda warning, blank admitted to supplying Kouri Richens with 15 to 30 fentanyl pills on 2 separate occasions, approximately 1 month before Eric's death. She stated Kouri paid her approximately $900 each time she supplied the pills. She provided details of the solicitation of the drugs, the pickup and drop-off locations, and other pertinent details that has been corroborated with digital forensic evidence. In investigating Kouri Richens' associates, it was discovered that in 2006, Richens' mother, Lisa Darden, was living with an adult female with whom she was having a romantic relationship. In April of that year, her romantic partner died unexpectedly. An autopsy report of the female partner showed that her immediate cause of death was a drug poisoning from an overdose of oxycodone. Further investigation showed that Lisa Darden had been named as the beneficiary of her partner's estate a short time before her death. So this runs in the family.
My gosh. So that was the cell phone
Jeez.
is her name that they were talking
Mhm.
about? That's crazy.
And now I'm wondering if this friend is connected to her mom. So the
Could be.
female did have current prescriptions for oxycodone and reportedly struggled with abusing her meds. She, however, was not in a state of recovery from addiction at the time of her death. Based on my training and experience, this would likely rule out the possibility of an accidental overdose. In reviewing forensic downloads of Kouri Richens' phone, it is clear she is very close with her mother and communicates with her almost daily, both for personal matters and in her business dealings. Conversations have been found on Kouri's phone showing disdain for Eric on Lisa's part. So they had a troubled relationship.
Mhm.
Based on Lisa Darden's proximity to her partner's suspicious overdose death and her relationship with Kouri, it is possible she was involved in planning and orchestrating Eric's death.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Damn.
Gonna be like a oh gosh, what's their names? The dentist,
The ones that
the
recently passed?
no, the dentist that, killed, the daughter's husband, ex-husband. What was that called? Their names? In Florida? They just had the mom's trial. What's the daughter's name?
Oh, gosh.
And the
The one
brothers in
where,
prison? Yes,
yeah,
Wendy.
Adelson.
Yes, that one.
Very well
Trying to
could be.
family affair.
Mm. On May 8th of 2023, detectives served a search warrant on Lisa Darden's house. A blue Samsung cell phone was recovered and identified as Lisa's current cell phone. I'm applying for a search warrant to search the digital contents of that phone. Wherefore, your client prays that a search warrant be issued for the seizure of said items in the daytime. Application to seal search warrant and related documents. Let's see. Your client requests pursuant to the search warrant application and affidavit or other recorded testimony upon which the warrant is based to include this application for an order sealing such documents be sealed until November 9th of 2023 for the following reasons. Pose a serious impediment to the investigation due to the sensitive and ongoing nature of the associated homicide case. Your client requests that the warrant be sealed while the investigation is ongoing. And we went over that already.
I wonder if they'll end up charging her mom with anything in the end.
I don't know. We'll find out as we go along, right?
Mm-hmm. I'm assuming the kids are with her? I don't know. Maybe we'll find
No.
out.
You are therefore commanded to make a search in the daytime of the above named or described person, vehicle, item, and or premises for herein above described property or evidence, and if you find the same or any part thereof, retain such property in your custody, subject to the direction of a prosecutor or an order of this court, be sealed until November 9th, 2023. Okay, return to search warrant. The personal property listed below or set out on the inventory attached hereto was taken from the person of a blue Samsung stylus cell phone with serial number blank belonging to Lisa Darden by virtue of a search warrant dated May 9th of 2023 and issued by Magistrate Andrew H. Stone of the 3rd District Court, All Department, Digital Forensic Extraction, Detective Jeff H. O'Driscoll of Summit County Sheriff's Office, by whom this warrant was executed, do swear that the above listed or below attached inventory contains a true and detailed account of all the property taken by me under the warrant on the 9th day of May of 2023. All of the property taken by virtue of said search warrant will be retained in my custody subject to the order of this court or of any other court in which the offense in respect to which the property or things taken is triable. And I declare under criminal penalty of the state of Utah that the foregoing is true and correct. Executed May 26th of 2023, and by that detective. Okay.
Very interesting.
Stop. So, and of which after that search warrant, she was arrested. Actually, was she arrested? When was she arrested? Take it, let me look. I completely forgot. She was arrested May 8th of 2023.
So loud.
So, for the last thing I have on here is her first court appearance.
Okay.
What I'm going to do is get this shared here, and then I need to step away for a few minutes, run to the bathroom and such. So I'm going to start it playing, let it run for a few minutes, and then I'll be back.
Alrighty.
Let me get this going. Make sure it's running okay.
Yeah, I don't think that's the attorney that's on there anymore, right?
I don't know.
We'll find all that out later.
It was Lazaro.
Yeah, I think they quit.
She might have had like an initial attorney,
Okay,
and then
there was something that went on, but I can't remember exactly what it was.
I think they have the sound muted for a little bit.
I was thinking that they were like, she was wanting them to go with a defense that's just really not correct or something, but I could be wrong. It's been a while since I had seen this stuff. But we'll find out.
Is it playing? Can you see it? Okay. So it went blank.
It's making a weird buzzing sound, but it's playing, but weirdly.
In April of this year.
Okay.
And you're
So let's rewind a little bit. All right. I'm going to let this play, and I will be back in a few minutes.
Okay. Are you still there, Heather? I think we're having some technical difficulties. Can't get that out. I'm gonna look up when her court date starts while we're waiting. Let's see. Oh, February. Okay, it looks like it's February the 10th. Oh, sorry, that's jury selection. The trial will start on February 23rd. Approximately lasted 5 weeks. Okay. I was looking up, it says that she was estimated at, Eric Richens was estimated at around $5 million, which was much of that was tied to real estate and was placed in a trust for his sister by the time of his death, despite his wife, Kouri, taking out nearly $2 million of life insurance policies on him without his knowledge, according to court filings. Let's see. It says in May, her original attorneys withdrew from the case, and the court appointed Richens public defenders. Oh, and the court appointed her public defenders.
Bug out bags, correct? Given the amount of time I've been here, it's somewhat customary for people to prepare.
From my experience, yes.
Okay. So that would include like packing a bag, correct? And was Eric's, correct?
Correct.
A label with a date.
I don't recall a date, but it labeled as Eric's.
Okay. And did you said that there was identification documents in there, correct?
Correct.
Are you aware that those are now expired?
No.
Okay. You came onto this case when did you come onto this case?
In April of this year.
Okay. And you took over as lead detective?
Yes.
And you, at some point after that, went to Kouri's home, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And introduced yourself and asked her, do you remember me? You coached my son, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And who was the other detective with you?
Sergeant Hoffmeyer.
Okay. And Sergeant Hoffmeyer said, hey, and she coached my son, correct?
I believe so.
And presumably, because you are the lead detective, you knew she was presented at that time, correct?
I was not aware of that.
Okay, so you had reviewed the entire. No, she.
I had not reviewed the entire case file at the time that
I'm back.
Mr. Richens.
Oh, okay. It took a while for it to play right.
The new detective, so
It still kind of cuts out a little bit.
What was going on with the case?
Do you have any conversation?
Yeah, and it looks like it's on their end.
Talking to her?
Yeah.
I do not think so.
Were you aware?
Because
of the
everything
letter
looks
in the file
good on
that
mine.
Detective Woody, and
Yeah, I'm sure it's just something to do with the
your
video.
office, addressed to the
Oh,
County
thank-
Sheriff, Mr. Martinez, that I was counsel in the case.
I was not aware of that letter at the time.
And you discussed with Kouri the case, correct?
She invited us in. Yes.
Which is this the detective with the search warrant?
I don't know. It's a lead detective.
Okay.
Did you ever ask her if she'd like a lawyer present?
Yes. At one point, her mother came to the house and made a point of should she be talking to us. And I said, if you would like to have your attorney here,
Okay, but this was after you'd been talking to her, right? Are you the other detective's name again? I apologize.
Sergeant Hoffmeyer.
Are you aware of a conversation between Sergeant Hoffmeyer and Kouri where she asked why Detective Woody was removed from the case and he tells her for mishandling evidence?
No.
Did he ever make mention of that?
On that date at that time. So
Was in the case?
in case she changed divisions and could no longer fulfill those duties,
Okay, what is she doing now?
she's in patrol. No, patrol.
Patrol. And then
You know what? Another thing I need to try to do for the next one
What?
we do
Mm-hmm.
is I want to see if I can do the vertical stream. Maybe I don't know. I don't know how that works. But I guess, StreamYard and YouTube, whatever.
Yeah, I know when I was messing around, I saw a thing where you could do vertical or whatever the other one is, but I don't remember where I was.
Do you know if it was on YouTube or StreamYard?
It was on StreamYard. I do know that. What was I doing? I was messing around. I think when I picked like present or something, I was just messing around with buttons. Maybe it came up there.
Interesting.
I can't remember.
Guess I'll figure it out on the
But I
next
think
one.
certain ways gets more views, right? If it's
The
vertical
I hear does.
yeah.
Oh, too late now to figure it out, but maybe on the next one. Oh, that was a bad pause look right here. Poor lady, I'm sorry.
like
Responding to.
Okay.
She's also part of the K9 unit.
So she went from being the lead detective in a murder investigation, potentially, to patrol, correct?
Yes, that's common for that to happen in our office.
Thank you.
Mr. Bloodworth, anything further
Yes, Your Honor, thank you.
within the scope of cross, please?
Cross-examination, Ms. Lazaro asked you about Ms. Richens' narrative from that night that she gave her husband a drink. Do you recall that?
Yes.
And she asked you about whether or not police recovered a glass, a cup, a mug, some kind of container for that drink that evening.
Oh, hey, Triple L.
Yeah.
I just got a text from
Uh-huh.
my mom saying, my mom and dad and my sister, they live in Nevada.
Uh-huh.
My mom just texted me saying my dad is in the ER.
Oh no.
He had been sick.
Yeah, I know he's not doing well, right?
No, not at all, with several cancers and stuff. But last week he was having a bunch of bowel issues and vomiting, and I guess he finally agreed to go to the ER. So
I'm sorry to hear that.
I've got my phone.
If you need to go, just tell me.
No,
I'm good.
I mean, I can't go anywhere. I mean, they're in Nevada, but I'm just saying
Yeah,
if I
okay.
need to take a phone call or something, which I doubt it. Just wanted to give you the heads up.
Okay. Yeah. Do what you need to do.
Let me see what she says here. Just resting. Hope they can help. Hoping they don't have to go and take him over to the Vegas hospital. I guess we'll find out.
Did you tell me he was on hospice or no?
No,
Okay.
no. But he had been getting chemo and radiation.
Mm-hmm.
Believe the radiation is over. He had still been getting chemo for esophageal cancer. He's also got prostate cancer.
Good grief.
He's gone through a number of rounds of chemo, and this is pretty much their last one. If it doesn't work, they were just going to stop everything and probably go hospice route. So
I hate to hear that.
But hopefully this hospital can help him.
Yeah,
have to
pray for him to feel better.
Remember that?
Yes.
Were there any glasses or containers near the defendant that evening?
I'm going to go take a bathroom break. I'll be right back, okay?
On the evening of the death.
Okay.
Is that what you're referring to?
Correct. I guess it's the morning of the 4th when police arrived.
Right. I'm unsure without being there on scene. But from reviewing the body cam, I didn't see any.
Am I right that the only information that indeed Ms. Richens, Kouri Richens, the defendant, gave her husband Eric Richens a drink was the defendant's own words, right?
Yes.
Ms. Lazar had asked you about gaps in timeframes in cell phones. Based on the carrier records, what have you been able to determine about gaps, particularly from early January until shortly after the defendant's death?
We were able to determine from looking at the phone that it appeared that data from several different apps on the phone was missing in that time frame between January and just shortly after Eric Richens death.
Let me turn now back to CL. On the very first time you met with CL, you testified that you kind of laid out kind of the predicament she was in, facing serious charges, but having potentially valuable information regarding a very serious death investigation, right?
Correct.
After that first meeting, how long until you began questioning her about the drug purchases?
For 4 or 5 days.
So you laid everything out for her on the first meeting, and then gave her 4 or 5 days to consider whether she wanted to cooperate, and then interviewed her substantively?
Correct.
Let me talk about that interview process. About how long after Eric Richens' death are you now interviewing?
Over a year.
And
Here in a couple months.
in order to jog her memory, what, if anything, did you show her?
We showed her the contents of her phone that we seized. We showed her Google Maps, Google Earth. We showed her screenshots of
Witnesses' phones or screenshots of those phones. Showed her screenshots of communications between her and that other witness.
correct.
Is that kind of iterative approach of showing an interviewee, is that common when you're interviewing somebody, what you're asking them to recall?
We'll have specific dates from that long ago.
Let me turn now to the April 13th, 2023 date when you introduced yourself to Ms. Richens, the defendant. What's the first thing the defendant did when you introduced yourself?
She invited us into the home.
About how long did she talk?
3 hours.
Did she give any indication that she was very excited to talk to you and surprised you'd taken so long to come talk to her?
Yeah, she made multiple statements that she was glad the investigators were there to talk to her because she felt that
That's not me. That's the
One of them
stream.
several times towards the end of the
Okay.
interview when you said your goodbyes, tried to leave, and she continued to talk.
yes,
Subsequent to the interview, after you and Sergeant Hoffmeyer left, did she email Sergeant Hoffmeyer with some follow-up?
yes, she sent an email with follow-up information to both I and Sergeant Hoffmeyer.
Your Honor, I'm going to mark as agreeable as State's Exhibit 1, a transcript of that April 13, 2023 interview.
Ms. Lazaro, have you seen it?
No.
You gotta show it to Ms. Lazaro first.
Hey, Freddie. How are you?
Your Honor, counsel has the audio of
Is that correct?
I don't believe so. There's a lot there. I
Okay.
haven't, but
All right.
we can proceed for today's purposes.
Your Honor, for purposes of today's hearing, the State would like to move this evidence to Exhibit 1. The State asked that the court guided at this point. We weren't sure this was going to come up today. We may need to do that.
Yeah, we're not gonna put it in the docket at all, but it can be admitted for States 1 for the purposes of today's detention.
Thank you.
No worries, Freddie. Hey, we're reviewing the first court appearance for Kouri Richens right now. Earlier, I had gone over a little bit of a timeline up until August, or excuse me, of September of 2023, and then had also read the affidavit for the search warrant and discussed a little bit about the walk the dog letter that was found in her cell. And that's about as far as we've gotten. But yeah, so there we are.
Detective O'Driscoll, you recall Ms. Lazaro asked you some questions about interviewing somebody with the initials JS, correct?
Correct.
And you said you interviewed JS approximately April the 20th, 2023.
And I think I forgot to ask you, Freddie, are you familiar with the Kouri Richens case?
Right?
Correct.
And at that point, how long had you been the lead detective on the investigation?
Less than 2 weeks.
And you told, I think you testified, you told JS something like, you thought there were three alternatives here. One was an accidental death, accidental overdose, suicide, or homicide. Is that right?
Correct.
At that point in your investigation, were you looking into and investigating all three of those alternatives?
Yes, at that time, I had little information.
Okay, I'll just give you a real brief rundown. Kouri Richens is from Utah. She was married to Eric Richens. She is accused of poisoning him to death in March of 2022. Believe they had three young kids together. They were married about 9 years. Oh my gosh, she has a lot of, I'm guessing she's going to have a lot of financial crimes come up. She was doing things like opening up a bank account without his permission, just going through money like crazy. There is, so they suspect that she made him a drink one night and laced that with fentanyl. Subsequently, he died from that overdose. She has, apparently, they believe that she had also attempted that before. Horribly enough, on Valentine's Day of 2022, he had gotten really sick after a dinner she had made him. And they have proof that she had purchased fentanyl pills prior to those dates, spending like $900 every time. She and her mom is Lisa Darden. Her mom has a super sketchy past, apparently with a romantic partner, also dying from an accidental overdose. So I suspect that Kouri, my suspicion is that Kouri was put in touch with this dealer through her mom. But that's about as far as we know. In regards to that, the walk your dog letter was like a witness tampering letter that she wrote to her mom to instruct what her brother was supposed to say to her lawyers and basically just lie for her and that kind of crap. And so now we are reviewing her first court appearance. And then that'll be it for this stream once this is over, and then we'll continue on. She's supposed to go to trial sometime next month. I think it's I want to say right around February 20th or 23rd.
I think it's the 28th. I looked up it a minute ago.
Okay.
Let me look real quick. Now I can't remember.
That sounds about right.
Oh, 23rd. Sorry, you're right.
I had also learned recently that there's the individual that had apparently either supplied her with the pills or had been a third party gave a statement to police in the beginning, has since recanted. This individual has a very long past with law enforcement. So I'm sure whatever their interactions with law enforcement, they know what they're doing, playing the system, I'm sure. But last I knew that witness is in controversy of whether or not they're going to testify or what's going on. So, all right, let me go ahead and continue.
About the case, other than the couple of interviews that I had conducted, and I was trying to keep an open mind to all the possibilities.
Thank you. No further questions. We're good, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay. Anything further, Ms. Lazar? No. You can step down.
Thank you.
The state's next witness.
Your Honor, the state calls Chris Kouri.
Sir, if you step in front of Brittany, we'll get you sworn in.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in the matter before the court to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, subject to the pains and penalties of perjury?
I have it sped up.
Sounds good.
Sir, could you please tell us your name and spell your last name?
Sure, it's Chris Kouri. Last name is Kotrodimus.
Thank you. Mr. Kouri, how are you employed at this point in time?
I own a private investigation firm,
What's that called?
M20 Solutions,
How long have you been the owner of that firm?
about 7 months.
What did you do prior to owning that business?
I was a police officer for over 23 years.
And where did you work as a police officer?
I started my career in Raleigh, North Carolina. I moved to Utah and took a position with the Salt Lake City Police Department, where I worked on the homicide unit there. In 2017, I took a position with the Salt Lake County District Attorney's Office on the homicide team there, and until my retirement in December of 2022.
Do you have any specialized education, training, or experience with forensic digital evidence?
I do, yes.
Could you briefly explain what that is?
Sure. So I've attended several formal courses, one being a Cellbrite Certified Operator course, a Cellbrite Certified Physical Analyzer course. I've also attended a 40-hour cell phone analysis and mapping course through ZedX.
Freddie, they had also obtained a search warrant for Kouri Richens' mom's cell phone. And I'm guessing they obtained probably a load of information. But yeah, I am very curious if her mom's involved in any of this. I can't wait to find out, to be honest.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
After using those skills for several years, I also attended a ZedX 40-hour subject matter expert course on the same subject, cell phone, social media mapping, those types of things. My experience related to my testimony on those courses is I've worked either directly or indirectly on more than 200 homicides and major crimes. I've inspected and evaluated thousands of phone and social media records and phone downloads.
Thank you. What is your role in the case that brings you to court today?
I was retained by the Summit County Attorney's Office to evaluate digital evidence in this case.
And what evidence have you reviewed?
I reviewed several cell phone downloads or extractions. I've reviewed and analyzed call detail records and some social media records, things like that.
Can you tell us what the difference between carrier records and call data records are?
Yeah, so a call data record or a cell download is kind of what it's commonly called, is information that is extracted or downloaded from a phone onto some type of media, external drive, things like that. And it does so into a reader, which you're able to analyze the data that's contained within a device. That's a cell phone extraction or download. A carrier record or a call detail
It's okay.
record is the regular record
Do whatever
that
you need
have.
to do.
It's the usage of
Just
the phone
listen
through the
along.
carrier.
No worries,
So it
Freddie.
records the date and times of your calls, your texts, your data usage for a given period of time. And it can include location information, such as like tower data.
Can there be discrepancies between carrier records and the data that's extracted from a device?
Yes.
What would cause that?
Usually, sometimes it's because it just wasn't captured in the phone download due to a software limitation, but typically where we see it is through deletion of information on the device that does not match the carrier records that we receive from the phone company.
Did you analyze forensic extractions of an iPhone belonging to the defendant that was seized April 13th of 2022?
I did.
Does it contain?
Oh, hey, Freddie. Did you want me to post the link to your channel in chat? Just let me know if you want me to do that or not.
Digital information pertaining to the night of March 3rd and into the morning of March 4th, 2022.
It does.
What does that phone show? Well, let me ask it this way. What is the last time that phone is used on March 3rd of 2022?
The last activity reported on the defendant's phone is an activity device movement at 22:33 hours or 10:33 p.m. on March 3rd.
When was the next time that phone was used?
The phone was inactive and then ultimately unlocked at 3:07 a.m. on March 4th, 2022.
Was there anything that happened between those two timeframes?
On that device?
On that device?
No.
Does the extraction of that phone indicate if it was moved in that time frame?
It does.
And how are you able to tell that?
Through the download. In this case, we use Cellbrite for the download. In the download, it gives an activity, like a connected device activity movement. Usually that's an indicator of another connected device, such as a tablet or a smartwatch or something of that nature. Those two devices will communicate with each other and report potential movement of the phone through that application.
Was there anything significant that occurred at 3:22 hours on March 4th?
At 3:22, yes, a 911 call was made.
So between the time that the phone is used at 3:07 that morning and 3:22, is there any activity that could be seen from the download?
There is.
What is that?
At 3:07, the device is unlocked.
Okay, I
At
posted your
3:08
link
PM, the
in
device
chat,
reports
so
some
people
type of
go
movement
over
either the
there.
device
She's
itself
just
or the
starting.
device is moving.
Let me stop
At
this.
3:12.
She's just starting her channel. So, let's get her up and going. Go ahead, head over there, give her, subscribe up to her. You won't be disappointed, I promise. I'm also Freddie's very first mod over there, so I feel kind of proud of that. Anyways, there you go.
12, the phone was unlocked. At 3:16, the phone was unlocked again. At 3:19, the phone was unlocked again, potentially twice. There was movement again at 3:21, and then at 3:22, the 911 call was made.
So roughly a time frame of 15 minutes between the first time that phone is used and the time that a 911 call is placed.
Correct.
Now, the attached device that's recording movement, could that be an Apple Watch?
It could be.
Do you have any way of telling from the extraction you examined what that device was that was recording that movement?
So far in the extraction, I have not been able to. I may at some point, but at this point, no.
And as far as the movement, what kind of movement is this? Is it significant?
It is significant, I think, for it occurring in a home.
And can you explain what that movement was?
Correct. So at 3:08, there's movement on the phone, or on a device is connected to that phone is moving, and it moves. I don't remember the exact amount of time, but I believe it's several feet.
So just so you guys know, Trent just left, and I'm doing this live, and so now Willow is howling at the top of her lungs. In case you hear it,
I could hear her.
My cat. You
That
could?
Willow. Yeah.
Did you hear her?
Uh-huh.
Little stinker.
I do know that at some point there was two movements right before the 911 call, and they're both significant. One was about 240 feet, it's like 74 meters and change.
Willow is my
About
kitty.
130
That's
feet.
my profile
This
picture.
is right before the 911.
She's very much a princess.
She's a diva.
As you were
Very.
Analyzing the forensic data from that extraction, were you
How
able
dare
to
Dad leave
observe any
and Mom be
noticeable,
busy? This is
patterns of
just
deletions in that phone?
uncalled for.
It appears that there is some deletion in it.
Can you describe what is being
There
deleted?
she goes again.
It looks like there's gaps in things like web history, web searches, particularly the call log. When a person makes or receives a call or a text, those are recorded in the call log of the phone. And there are there's messaging that is included in the carrier report, call detail record, that I would expect to see also logged within the device that are not in the device.
Okay, so you're seeing those in the carrier records, but not on the device themselves.
Oh,
For instance, there's multiple calls and texts to an individual. I would expect to also see that retained in the call log of the device itself.
I can't
And
see
in
the
a lot of
screen, Willow.
instances, particularly in the weeks
It's
prior
on there.
To the death, there's a lot of that is missing.
And from the
I
carrier
can't
records, are
see
you able to
chat
tell
or
who those
anything.
calls
Oh,
belong to?
get off
Yes,
me.
There's several people, but as it relates to this case, one that stood out was a person.
Can you
a
see
witness
it?
That has been mentioned as CL.
Can what?
In those
Can you see it
she's
now?
gone now.
records, were
Yeah,
there,
she
logs
Oh,
or
okay.
calls made to CL
used me to walk over.
I don't recall January.
Did you analyze a forensic extraction of a second iPhone belonging to the defendant that was seized in May of 2023.
Yes.
When did activity begin on that phone?
The activity on that phone started shortly after her original phone was seized in April of 2022.
Were you able to observe internet searches on that phone?
Yes.
And did you create a PowerPoint of some of those searches?
I did.
And just for the court and counsel's reference, this is docket item 141. Were you able to tell when those searches were done?
Yes.
How did you do that?
There is a date and time stamp of the history, the web history. So for instance, if you visit a website and you click through it using your device, it will report what date and time that you did that connected to that website.
On April 18th of 2022, did the phone access an internet site of an article entitled "What Happens to Deleted Messages"?
Yes.
On May 10th of 2022, did that phone access a site for an article entitled "How Do Police and Forensic Analysts Recover Deleted Data from Phones"?
Yes.
Did that phone was a query placed in that phone, quote, "Can cops, period, uncover deleted, period, messages, iPhone," close quote?
Yes.
Did that phone search, quote, "How to, period, permanently delete information from an iPhone remotely," close quote?
Yes.
Did that phone search, quote, "Luxury prisons for the rich in America"?
It did.
Did that phone search, quote, "If
Luxury
someone is poisoned,
prisons?
what does it go down on the death certificate as?"
Oh my God.
Were you able to tell when those things were searched?
The search themselves, there was no
Crazy.
date and time reported for the individual search.
Yeah.
However, I found corresponding websites to those searches that did have the dates and times in the web history.
And was there a certain time frame that these searches were made?
They were.
Can you describe what that was?
It's typically between, well, shortly after her original phone was seized. So from middle of April of 2022.
Yeah, look,
memory serves me right, about August of 2022, off and on.
Thank you. Now, you mentioned your training with cell phone mapping using cell tower data.
Yes.
Have you employed that in your review of the evidence in this case?
I have.
And specifically, can you explain just briefly how cell phone mapping is done using cell phone cell tower data?
Sure. Sorry, I looked that way. I'm used to talking to a jury. So cell mapping is accomplished by taking call detail records that contain tower location in them and putting them into a piece of software that will visually show you a location on a map of which tower that device was accessing when it made or received a call or a text. So it takes lines of data and creates a map out of it.
And is that plotted on like a program like Google Earth?
It is.
Okay. And
Triple L? Are you there?
Yes.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna be right back.
Okay. Okay.
are you able to tell any directionality from when a phone connects to a tower? Is there any directionality to that where you can tell approximately where that phone is transmitting from?
Yes. Yeah. So the cell phone, the companies report which tower the device is utilizing and which sector. There's an estimated range to that, which is a bit ambiguous on the range. However, it will tell us at least what side of the tower that the device was located when it made or received the call or text.
How many sectors are there on each cell tower?
Typically 3.
And so if a phone is connecting to a tower through a certain sector, can you tell that it's someplace where that sector is for lack of a better word, broadcasting or collecting signals?
Yeah, so we can determine the orientation of the device to certain locations.
I see. Yeah. Did you map data from CL's phone extraction?
I did.
Were you able to track that phone's movements on February 11th of 2022?
Yes.
At any time, was it at or near a Maverick gas station in Draper, Utah?
It is.
And are you aware of the significance of that location in this investigation?
I am.
And what is that?
This is the location that CL had indicated to detectives that she bought drugs on behalf of the defendant.
Do you recall approximately what time of day that was? It was there?
She shows up on that tower near that Maverick at about 6:49 p.m. and remains there until about 8 p.m. on February 11th, 2022.
Does that phone make any calls or send any texts while at that location?
It did.
And to anyone notable to this investigation?
Yes, 2 people.
Who's that?
One would be to another acquaintance in which CL indicated she had purchased the drugs from, and CL was also texting with the defendant.
While she was at a gas station in Draper purchasing narcotics.
Correct.
On that day, did the phone go to a location? Did the phone go to a location in Heber City?
It did.
Was the mapping that you did of CL's phone consistent with the account that CL gave to law enforcement regarding that first drug purchase?
Yes.
Were you able to track CL's phone movements on March 9th of 2022?
Yes,
Was the phone ever in Francis, Utah on that day?
it was.
Was it ever at or near the same Maverick in Draper, Utah?
It was.
Were there any communications from the phone at that time while it was at the Maverick?
Yes, at the Maverick, yes.
Did it communicate with any phone belonging to a person relevant to this investigation?
It did.
Who was that?
At the Maverick, it communicated with, I guess, corroborating witnesses to the drug purchase on the 9th. When the device was utilizing a tower in Francis, it was about midday on March 9th, and CL's phone was in communication with the defendant's phone.
While she was in Francis, Utah.
Correct.
Did the phone go to a location in Midway, Utah on or about that day?
Yes.
Are the movements that you tracked for CL's cell phone on March 9th of 2022 consistent with the information she gave to law enforcement in this investigation?
Yes.
Finally, I want to speak with you briefly about Mr. Eric Richens' phone. Did you analyze a forensic extraction of his phone?
I did.
When was the last use recorded from Eric's phone?
From memory, I believe it was about 9:58 p.m. on March 3rd, 2022.
And are the times that are on the extraction from that are populated in the Celebrate download, are those, what time zone are those given in?
Typically, the extraction is provided in UTC 0.
Okay.
Yes.
And so do you have to, so can you just briefly explain what UTC 0 is?
Right. So UTC 0 is Greenwich Mean Time. It's an effort by people that utilize data and do data investigations to try and keep everybody on the same time zone. Utah is in UTC -7 during standard daylight time, and we are in -6 in daylight savings time. So from November, in this case, from November of 2022 to about March 13th, November of 2021 to March, I believe it was March 13th, 2022. Local time in Utah was UTC -7.
Okay. So if those times are given on that download as UTC -5, that would be Eastern Standard Time?
Correct. It would be 2 hours ahead of local Utah time.
So to adjust for...
Okay, I'm back. I went and turned on the radio to see maybe if that'll help soothe her a little bit. Let's see. Yeah, Freddie, if you want to take notes, have at it. What I do on my end is I save everything to my email prior to the court cases or prior to the trials. And then during trials, I take notes. I'll take handwritten notes. But yeah, if you want to go ahead, take notes and, just in case. And then that way, if I forget something or who knows what, it'd be good to have a backup. So have at it if you want to go ahead and take on that task.
Mountain Standard Time, you would have to go back 2 hours.
You'd have to subtract 2 hours. Okay.
And that's what gave you, can you repeat that the last time that Eric's phone was used on March 3rd?
I believe it was 9:58 p.m. on March 3rd.
Like just one moment, Judge. Thank you, Mr. Kotradimus. Those are all of my questions this time. Thank you.
You testified there are essentially two explanations for why things might be missing. One in a download. One is that it's not captured in the download, correct?
Correct.
And that can happen.
It can.
And then the other is whether or not it's been deleted.
Correct.
In this case, all you can say definitively is that it's missing, correct?
Correct.
Now, with regard to movement, that could be any device that is essentially attached to the phone through an app, correct?
It could be, yes.
Okay. And so you can't say, looking at what you analyzed, exactly what device that was, correct?
So far, no.
Okay. And you can't tell where that device was in terms of location, correct?
Correct.
So it's possible that that could have been a device attached to it from some other location, but the phone's recording it, correct?
It would be unlikely.
But it's possible if it's connected to an app.
It depends on the range.
Okay.
So it would be impossible outside a certain range.
And there's a number of different ways to, or different programs, and forgive me, I am not an expert in this. So there's a number of different programs or extractions that can be done on phones, correct? Or different ways to do them.
Correct.
Okay. Did you perform an independent extraction on this phone?
I did not.
Okay, or on any of the phones you've talked about today?
No.
Did you analyze any data prior to January of 2022 on either CL's phone or either phone, or I guess the first phone belonging to Ms. Richens?
I don't believe I did.
Okay. Were you asked to only look at a particular date range?
Not necessarily, no.
Okay. Were you given the date range of interest?
Yeah.
Okay. And so you didn't cross-reference any communication or the frequency of communication between CL and Kouri prior to January of 2022, correct?
Correct.
So it could be
Who's
that they
CL?
communicated all the time and you wouldn't have known.
Yes.
So this could have been just a normal course of communication between the two.
Sure. Yes.
Who?
Who is CL?
I don't know. Is that who they're talking
Were
about?
you made aware of
Yeah.
when the search warrant was, or when the first phone was seized?
Yes.
And were you given a copy of the search warrant? Were you made aware that the search warrant included evidence of homicide that they were looking at? And in that first phone, prior to Eric passing away, were you able to review any search history of the web browser
Whose device?
on the first device of Ms. Richens?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And were there any searches related to fentanyl on that?
Not that I found. There were not many searches available to
And
look at.
no searches related to prisons either?
No, not in that time frame.
No searches related to deleting messages?
No.
And so all the searches came from the second phone, correct?
The web searches mentioned, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And that was the phone that was seized after the search warrant was issued for the first phone, correct?
That was,
Because
yes.
that's the
So
phone
that
she got
was-
as a replacement, right?
Yes, correct.
I just want to return to this mapping, or move to this mapping that you discussed. Did you look at the mapping on the second phone of Ms. Richens?
I did not.
So the state didn't ask you to compare Ms. Richens' phone to CL's location at any point, correct?
They did.
Okay.
Yes. They
But you
did.
couldn't do it? Or didn't
No.
do it?
The records, the mapping location for those called detail records through Verizon are no longer available
On the second phone?
on either phone.
Okay, so you were able to get them off of CL's phone, but because of Verizon, you weren't able to get them on Ms. Richens' phone?
Correct.
And on that March 9th date, you discussed her being in Francis midday in the Maverick. What time was she at that Maverick?
It was about 3 p.m.
So after
2 or
she'd
3
been,
p.m.
after she'd been to,
She was
To Francis.
she was in Francis around midday,
okay.
and she was at the Maverick at about 2:33 p.m.
Okay. Did she go back to Francis?
She went to Heber.
And she lives in Heber.
She does.
I don't think I have another question.
Mr. Hill, anything further?
No, thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Cassell.
Thanks, Your Honor. State Culprit Carrington.
Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in the matter before the court to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, subject to the pains and penalties of perjury?
Morning.
Morning.
Could you could you state your name and spell your last name, please?
Brooke Carrington, Karrington.
How are you employed?
I am a principal managing partner at Carrington France Financial Forensics.
Is this a company that you started?
Yes, it is.
And when did you do that?
Officially in, I think 2012, when I registered that business, but I've been doing this for about 35 years.
What's the nature of your business?
I look at, most of the casework I get is forensic accounting, and most of the casework is cases where there are allegations of fraud or missing or misappropriated funds, tracing of bank transactions, and casework like that.
And how long have you been doing that?
35 years next month.
Do you have an undergraduate degree?
I do.
What is it in?
It's in English.
And what about a graduate degree?
I have an MBA.
Do you have any certifications or other degrees?
Yes, I am a certified fraud examiner. I also am certified in anti-money laundering transactions. I am also working towards certification.
Triple L, just so you know, I did email you just now the article that I read about the walk the dog.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Just so you have it if you need it.
Okay. Thank you very much.
And cryptocurrency.
Welcome.
So this is probably going to be a lot. But in your 35 years of forensic accounting, how many cases have you worked on?
A couple of years ago, I had to quantify that, and at that time, it was about 4,600.
So probably more now.
More now.
Okay. Have you provided testimony in financial crimes cases?
Yes, I have.
How often?
A handful of times per year, I would say.
Okay. How did you first get involved in this case?
I was originally contacted by the investigator for the estate of Eric Richens.
And who's that?
Todd Gabler.
Okay. And why did he contact you, or what was his reason for contacting you?
Mr. Gabler and I have been acquaintances and colleagues for 30 years, and he expressed to me that I have a skill set that he knows nothing about. So.
Okay. And who hired you?
The estate hired me initially.
Okay. And at some point, were you retained by the Summit County Attorney's Office?
Yes.
When was that?
I believe it was May 31st of this year, just a couple weeks ago.
Okay. So as part of your being hired by the estate and being retained by the Summit County Attorney's Office, have you reviewed any documents that are relevant in this case?
Yes.
What have you reviewed?
I've reviewed bank account statements, tax return documents, real property records, specifically trust deeds and warranty deeds, reconveyances. I've also reviewed insurance policy documents, tax information.
Okay. Specifically with respect to the defendant, were you able to determine whether or not she owns any businesses?
Yes.
What business does she own?
She owns several businesses, and the most relevant one to this case, I believe, is Kouri Richens Realty, LLC.
Okay. What kind of business is that?
It's in the business, in the realty business, real estate business, and I understand she flips homes, but she also acts as a realtor representing people who are purchasing homes.
Okay. And when did she start this business?
It was registered in Utah in April 2019.
All right. Were you able to find information regarding the defendant's buying and selling of homes?
Yes.
And how did you find that information out?
Those documents are typically recorded and they are public documents, and they're typically recorded at counties, recorder offices. There's also information along that line at the assessor offices, and each state has a little bit different process of doing them. Most of them do it the same way that Utah does, which is through the county recorder.
Okay. I'm going to show you, I may approach them. What's been marked as things exhibit 2. You recognize that?
Yes.
What is that?
This is a schedule that I prepared. I use the term schedule to talk about my work product and the analysis and how I depict it. So this is a chronology of the real properties that I was able to identify attached to either Kouri personal, Ms. Richens personally, or through her company.
Okay. Does it show a timeline of acquisitions that she has made?
Yes, and I should underscore this is a timeline of that they were acquired.
Okay.
So just this is the front end of her ownership.
Okay. And in 2019, this is when her business was started. Is that correct?
That's correct.
How many homes so far have you been able to tell whether or not were acquired by the defendant?
In 2019?
Yes.
In 2019, I have 2 properties listed. One of them is the home that they were living in, and that's when the HELOC was taken out. And the other one is a different property. So I've listed 2 there.
And you've listed an amount of trust deeds for 2019. Is that right?
That's correct.
Can you explain what those are?
Trust deeds are deeds that are recorded at the county recorder's office, and they are memorializing or documenting an obligation or an encumbrance on a property. So this would represent that there's a loan for a certain amount, and that's expressed and documented.
And Triple L, I just sent you a second email. This one has the article for the email that she wrote to the Summit County office prior to her arrest, that's explaining the quote unquote exotic vacations and supposed Eric's affair, which I guess we'll find out more if that's true or not. But that we'll go over on the next. We'll go over that on the next slide. But just so you know.
Sounds great. Okay, thank you.
In a trust deed.
Welcome.
Okay. And how much money, I guess, in trust deeds, or what was the amount of trust deeds in 2019?
Those 2 trust deeds total $471,210.48.
And you've done that for each year, 2020 and 2021 as well, right?
That's correct.
And what was the amount in 2020 of trust deeds?
2020 was $2,069,280.
On how many properties?
On 5.
Okay. And 2021, what was the amount of trust deeds and that the defendant acquired?
The amount there is $6,260,458.
On how many properties?
On 13.
Do you find this significant?
Yes.
And why?
On a positive note, it depicts that the business was growing and she was actively acquiring properties. I think it's noteworthy, and it's an indication that things were growing quite significantly, and sometimes that is problematic.
And why is it problematic?
Well, it's kind of a basic thing like in business school where growth too fast, too strong, too robustly is challenging for a business.
Okay. Were you able to determine at the end of 2021 how much the defendant was obligated on those debts, those $6 million debts? And actually explain to me the difference. What does obligated on a debt mean?
That's a very important question and very, very important point to understand here. I don't have access at this point to the documents that tell me the terms of these loans. So I don't know what the interest rate is of these loans. I don't know the terms that she's agreed to for these loans. I don't know what payment is required on these loans. What I do know is these are what we colloquially call hard money lenders. And I do know on some of these what these lenders do require, and it's in the neighborhood of 12 to 15%. These are not conventional loans where there's a 30-year payment amortization. These are typically short-term loans, and people in the house flipping business, the fix and flip business, typically are turning those over a little more quickly, so they don't need a 30-year loan. They need a shorter term loan. So I understand what she's obligated on, but I do not know what the balance is at the end of a particular time period.
I see. You need more information to make that determination. Is that right?
That's correct. And that would be the loan documents themselves, the promissory notes, and the ledgers from the lenders to show what payments were or were not made and when were they made, how the interest was calculated and accrued, what other fees. Typically, these lenders have significant loan origination fees, and if payments are late, then the interest rate is higher on the late payments. There are perhaps default fees, things like that.
Okay. So do you have a rough estimate on what she was obligated to at the end of 2021?
Yes.
And what's that?
The end of 2021
Yes.
was a little over $4 million.
Okay. And you don't know if that's you don't know what she paid back, but you know that was what at that point she was obligated.
That's what she was obligated on these properties that she still owned at that time. And this is, I believe I've done a pretty good job looking for properties, but there may be others that I don't know about.
Okay. Were you able to look at bank accounts that belong to the defendant?
Yes.
And what is servicing a debt? What does that mean?
That would be a term that would explain that there's a debt outstanding, and servicing a debt would be the payments on that debt. So if I have a credit card and I have a monthly payment, or I have a balance due, my payment toward that credit card is called servicing my debt.
Okay. And were you able to determine how much debt the defendant was servicing in December of 2021, for instance?
Yes.
How much was that?
The debt payments?
Yes.
The debt payments were about $252,000 in that month.
Were you able to do?
The debt payments that she made in December of 2021, there were 94 payments, and those 94 payments total $252,000.
Jesus Christ.
Is there anything that you found significant about those debt payments?
Yes.
What was that?
They were not to 94 individual entities. Some of them were weekly payments. For example, I know that she has an outstanding debt during that time of $5,438 that was required to be paid weekly on a debt. She has a $600 payment that is made daily for a period of time during December. And the payees on most of those debts, the large majority of those debts are hard money lenders. Some of them are credit cards.
And this was in a particular account you looked at?
That's just in one account, yes.
And do you remember what account that was?
That's the account 6577.
Okay. Were you able to determine if she was current on her debt payments that were coming out of 6577? Did I say that number correct? Yes.
Yes, you did.
Okay.
I know of one account that she has that had sued her, and they filed suit in New York in December 9th of 2021.
Okay. But to ask you about that, I'll ask you about that one in a minute. But
Okay.
were you able to look at the bank account and determine whether or not she was current on her payments, or whether her payments were going through correctly?
I can't tell you if she was current on her payments. I can say about those payments that several of them did not clear the bank. And
Why was that?
She was in the negative in that account from a good part of that month. She was $22,000 in the hole for a good part of that month.
So you noticed that, at least for that account in that month, that that some of the payments to the hard money lenders were not going through?
That's correct.
Okay. Did you notice any charges for overdraft fees or anything like that?
Yes.
Okay. Well, what did you notice about that?
They were $25 each, and sorry, I don't recall what the cumulative number is for that, but there were dozens.
Okay. Now I want to ask you about this. You said that there was a lawsuit that you were familiar with out of New York.
Yes.
Can you explain what you found out about that?
So in that case, they did file the agreement. And so from that, it's apparent that Ms. Richens used receivables of $87,000, and receivables are
Is that me? That can't be me. My cell signal's good. Oh, come on. Sorry.
her potential
There it goes.
revenue is. It's work that she's performed or earned, and she's expecting to be paid this money to her company as revenues. So that's $87,000 that's stated in the case, in the document that they filed with it. And that agreement also says that she's borrowing $60,000 against that $87,000 at 15%. And that document also shows, spells out the terms of the agreement that she's to make weekly payments of $5,438 until that debt is paid.
And do you know why this lawsuit was brought, or what the documents indicate about why the lawsuit was brought?
According to the complaint, which is the other side's version of what happened, that she made payments of about $21,000. So that would be a little shy of 4 payments. And then after that, she defaulted.
Okay. And when was that lawsuit filed?
December 9th, 2021.
So we talked a little bit about the bank accounts, at least the, do you know where the Kouri Richens Realty bank account, what the bank is?
Where they banked?
Where they banked?
Yes.
What is that?
America First Credit Union.
Okay. And were there any other America First Credit Union accounts that you were able to look at?
Yes.
And when were you able to look at those?
Over this past weekend.
Okay. How many accounts did you get access to?
Probably about 11 or 12.
Okay. Were some significant?
Yes.
Were some not?
That's correct.
Okay. I'm going to ask you specifically about each of these in order, or not each of them, but a couple of them in order. There's the 6577, is that right?
That's correct.
What was, and that was the Kouri Richens Realty, right?
That's primarily, that is the name of the account, and that's, as far as I can tell, that's primarily where the transactions were housed.
And you said primarily the hard money lending payments?
Primarily there.
Okay. And that one ended up in about negative 2,200 at the end of 2021.
22,000.
22,000. I'm sorry, you're right, 22,000. Did you look at 2204?
Yes.
What primarily was that?
That's the joint account, so we call that a personal account. It's a joint account. It's held jointly with Eric and Kouri Richens.
Anything stand out in that account to you?
Yes.
What was that?
Well, it's important to me to look at kind of a runway of the account leading up to a significant time period, because it's important to understand the nature of an account. And so I've gone back to 2020, long before the review period that's relevant specifically in this case, or that is people are concerned about in this case, to understand what the nature is and what's the character of that account, how is it used, and what's typical for a particular account holder. And that's going to be different for every person and every business. And so I looked at this account, and typically it is the account that is used to pay credit cards and kids' expenses and family expenses and things like that.
Okay. Anything else stand out as you reviewed the account?
Yes, as we get closer to the time period that's relevant here, which is like the months leading up to Eric's death, I would term that, and then what happened after. There are transfers between accounts and amongst accounts. I can see, Eric's payroll coming into that account. I can see there are some deposits from, or transfers, I guess I should say, from Kouri Richens Realty, payments going back to Kouri Richens Realty. There's a marked increase in the number of transactions that occur in that account and all of the accounts.
Okay. So you actually see an increase of money moving around in that account, say, late 2021 and up until Eric's death.
That's correct. Yes.
Why is that significant? Why do you find that significant?
Well, I'm looking for what's typical or what makes sense, and so I'm looking at what's happening in the business account, and does that influence what happens in the personal account, along with what is happening in the acquisition of properties and how how those move together. And so there's this kind of noteworthy crescendo that happens in the months leading up to Eric's death. There are indicators of an increase of chaos and loss of control and larger amounts of money moving all around the accounts.
In a positive way or a negative way?
It feels haphazard. There's not a pattern. There's not a practice that there had been a little bit earlier in my review. And there are transactions that don't clear when there's, money is moving around just to cover transactions.
Okay, and I'm going to ask you about those transactions that don't clear in a minute. But I'm going to go to ask you about account 5244. Are you familiar with that account?
Yes.
What is that account?
That is also a personal account. That was opened in 2013. And the header on the bank statement has Kouri's name, but the signature card, and until I looked at the signature card, I thought that was just Kouri's account. But the signature card does have Eric and Kouri as joint holders.
And what is that? What do you believe that's primarily focused when you review of that?
I thought that was a business account.
Okay, is that what you continue to think? I mean, I guess
it's technically a personal account.
Okay.
According to America First, that's a personal account, but it is used as a business account.
And why do you say that?
Because of the transactions that are contained within the account.
What kind of transactions are they?
There are some payments for the loans on these properties. There are expenses that I would think would be typical of a business rather than personal. But there are some personal expenses there. I'm not saying that to be prejudicial or negative or anything. It is what it is.
Okay. Are there any credit card payments coming out of that account?
Yes.
How many credit card? Or what's the amount of credit card payments coming out of that account?
I didn't quantify that.
Okay. So at the end of did you review the bank statement for that account, the 5244, for the end of 2021?
Yes.
What was the status of the account then?
That was also in the negative. It was in negative about 1,100, 1,700, something like that.
Was there a line of credit?
Yes, there was.
How much was the line of credit?
3,200.
And what was the status of the line of credit?
And that was exceeded. That was tapped out.
Okay. So you mentioned some, I guess, transactions that did not clear. Is that how you put that?
That I did, yes.
Okay. And where did those, in what accounts were there transactions that did not clear? Do you remember?
I know the 6577 account, 5244 account. The 5244 is the one we've just been talking about. Mm-hmm. The 2204 account is the personal account, the joint personal account. And that also had a lot of money moving in and out and did have some transactions that did not clear.
So I'm going to direct your attention to a transaction that occurred on October 13th of 2021. Do you remember looking at that? Where there was a check coming in from a credit union?
October 23rd of 2021?
13th.
October, for what amount?
For $4,000.
Yes.
Okay. Tell me, and that was into 6577. Is that right?
I believe so. Are we talking about 2021?
Yes.
Okay.
And it was from PenFed. If you remember that.
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell me about that? What you recall about that transaction?
PenFed Credit Union is a credit union where Kouri Richens has accounts and Eric does not, and that becomes a significant issue later. But that check was deposited into the account, and then it was returned unpaid.
And do you recall if there were any transactions made out of the account between the time the check was deposited and it came back unpaid?
I recall that there were transactions, yes.
Okay. And there was another couple of checks deposited in November 12th of 2021 that did not clear. Do you remember those?
I remember that there were checks, yes.
Okay. And after those checks were deposited, do you remember if there were any payments made out of the account? Before it came back unpaid, sorry.
The same is true, yes.
And do you remember who those were transferred to, or where they were transferred?
I don't recall specifically, no.
Okay. But there was money transferred out between the time the check was deposited that didn't clear and the time.
That's correct.
Okay. And then in December 23rd of 2021, do you recall any checks that were deposited? A check for $10,000 from the Navy Federal Credit Union?
Yes.
And what happened to that check?
That did not clear as well.
Okay. And checks take a while not to clear, right? Is that right? So a check is deposited, it's credited to your account, but there's some time in between the credit and the coming back not cleared. Is that right?
Yes, that's right. But it depends on the relationships between those financial institutions. Sometimes they'll clear overnight. Sometimes they'll take a few days.
Now, these seem to take about 4 or 5 days. So would that be
That's
right?
correct. I remember that there were two that did not clear, and they both came from Ms. Richens' Navy Federal Credit Union account.
So these were checks written by the defendant and on the Navy Federal Credit Union account and deposited into her America First credit.
That's correct.
Was there money between the time that the check was deposited and the time it came back as unpaid? Were there any transactions out of that 6577 account?
Yes, there were.
And what were they?
I don't recall.
Okay, but there was a time when the money was moved out of those.
That's correct.
Okay. In 6577, do you recall? I know you testified that it was overdrawn at the end of the year. Do you recall that?
I do. I don't remember the amount, but it was, again,
Overdrawn?
yes.
Okay. Do you, and again, I want to ask you about go back to 5244. And I think,
I think we can move on.
okay. Let me ask you about the life.
Are you vacuuming?
Oh gosh, Roomba's running.
Are you there?
Sorry. I'm here. Can you hear me? Yeah, Roomba's running. I'm sorry.
Okay, I just wondered. Yeah.
I'm gonna get up and close the door. I was
Oh no, it's fine. I was just like, is she vacuuming?
I was listening to this and also, doing some more research and stuff. And so I have some articles and some more videos and everything's set to go for the next live. It's already done.
Cool.
To review. Yeah, I have good housekeeping. I wish I had a housekeeper. My housekeeper is
I
Roomba.
need to hire one of those.
I'll get up and close the
sure.
door.
Oh,
I'm
it's
so
fine. I
used
just
to
was
it. I
giving you a
forget.
hard time.
I'm so used
You
to
don't
it.
notice
I
it.
I know. Let me get up and I'll do a little stretch break. So give me a few minutes.
Okay. Alrighty.
Insurance policies. Are you familiar with life insurance policies
Yes.
on Eric's life?
Yes.
How many life insurance policies were there on Eric's life at the time of his death?
I believe there were 6.
Okay. And what were they? Can you explain what the life insurance policies were?
Yes. The first was through Minnesota Life for $347,000, and that was what is typically called a home mortgage policy, in which if the insured passes away, the home's paid off, and they write it at the amount of what the loan balance was at the time the policy is taken out. And so whatever the loan is at the time of death, I believe that loan is like 72%. They'll pay 72% of the outstanding loan. And so that one was paid.
Okay.
And then there's a life insurance policy that Eric and his business partner had on each other, basically, and that's in coordination with a buy-sell agreement on their business. And so if one of them passes away, the other would be the beneficiary of that life insurance policy.
So let me just ask you about that instead of going through one at a time. How, besides the life insurance policy that was on Eric's business, what was the amount of money that Eric's life was insured for at the time of his death?
About $1.2 million, aside from the business buy-sell policy.
And are you familiar with any attempt to change the beneficiary of the business policy?
I'm aware that that is the report, yes.
And what was the report?
That on New Year's Day of 2022, that in New York Life's online portal, someone had logged in and had changed the beneficiaries on that policy
To,
to
That
Kouri
is
Richens.
insane.
and that was changed back as far as you know, had been changed back at the time of Eric's death.
That's my understanding, yes.
Do you know how much money the defendant got in insurance payouts?
$1.3 million, a little bit more than that, 1.3 million in June of 2022.
Wow.
No, just have a minute, Ron.
Of course.
I have a couple more questions, Your Honor. Were you able to review the PenFed accounts at any time?
Yes.
Do you recall if there was any money in those accounts?
For most of the time, I reviewed a little bit over a year. I believe most of the time it had $5 in it.
Okay. I have a question.
I'm going to be really quick because.
Well, hey, just takes what it takes.
Okay.
They're on notice that I'm otherwise engaged.
Okay. I needed that. Ms. Carrington, a couple of questions. Want to talk about, pursuant to your testimony, you've been doing this for a long time.
Yes.
And you look at investment type businesses as well as personal finances, correct?
That's correct.
Of course,
I'm back.
review of things. And you said that
Okay.
Kouri Richens Realty was essentially flipping homes, correct? Is a business.
That's my understanding from what's publicly available.
Yeah. And in your experience, that type of a business model is essentially investment properties that you don't own very long and then you resale, correct?
Yes.
So within the framework of that, it
Yeah,
would not
Lori
be
Vallow
uncommon or
was
uncharacteristic
scary.
to have these hard money lenders as a part of that type of business model, correct?
Yes, and that I did say that earlier, that that's typical.
Right.
Yes.
We wouldn't go get conventional home loans.
Yes, she did. Whew.
6 months, we hope, correct?
You could. That would be a lot lower interest rate. Even though it had a longer repayment period, someone could get a conventional loan to do that.
It would be hard to continue to get conventional loans, I would assume, when you're buying multiple properties, correct?
I don't know the answer to that. What I will say is it's very typical for someone in this industry that Ms. Richens is in to get hard money lenders.
So what she was doing was typical for the industry.
I would say yes.
Okay. And you created this schedule of homes. Did you also look at when those homes sold?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And did you correlate those payments?
Correlate.
Like, were you able to see what the home sold for?
I have been able to see many of them what they sold for.
Okay. So, and then.
In fact, speaking of Lori, Colby Ryan just went live a little bit ago, and his title is She Easy to Read? The Behavior Panel, and he's got a picture of his mom on there.
Gosh.
So they must be analyzing his mom.
Devil. She's a devil.
Yeah.
She must have had major Botox. I don't know how all that stuff works, but to look one way and then she just, everything like fell.
Oh,
on her
I'm
face.
sure she did. She was all about the looks.
I was just like,
she was
my God.
She was like that, what was it, Texas? Was she former Miss Texas or something? She was
Yeah, she was something.
Like a hairstylist. She was all about the image.
It was just crazy how different she looked,
Yeah. Face and everything started sagging.
Mm-hmm. It all fell and it went crooked.
If you look at those, she only still owns a handful of those, correct? 4, maybe.
I'm sorry, what?
She only
Time period.
still currently owns just a small handful of those homes, correct?
I think she still owns about 6 or 8.
So she owns the ones on Canyons Resort Drive that are rental properties.
That's correct.
Okay. And she owns the Saratoga Springs house.
Yes.
Okay. And
She still owns the condo in B Street in Salt Lake City.
Correct. In the Heber City.
Yes, she does. It's under joint tenancy, and K. Richens Realty is still on the title on that.
And were you able to see on any of these hard money loans if she partnered with anyone on them? And it's not just a hard money loan, but if there were any partnership.
The trust deeds do not indicate a partnership.
Okay. So you wouldn't know if there was some other partnership that existed on these?
Yes, that would be reflected in the trust deed, and I did not see any partnership on any of them.
Were you able to see
Come on. I have full signal Wi-Fi, so I swear this does it to me every time.
You have that, and then I can't ever get technically right.
part of your
Yeah. Hey, did you notice? No commercials. Because I have premium.
Oh, I didn't notice. Oh, good.
Yeah, they started a promo in October that you get the first 3 months free, and then after that,
Good.
$14.99 a month.
I can't
So I'm
stand
like,
to sit through commercials.
I know. So I'm like, it
That's
makes it
good.
so much better looking. So much better.
Yeah, it makes all the difference in the world.
So $15 a month for me. I don't know what it's like for others, but
Yeah,
for me,
I
$15 a
think
month is
that's what
still
it
worth
is.
it.
Yeah. I mean, to me, this is my whole entertainment. You know what I mean? So $15, it's worth it not to have to sit through those commercials. Like, I don't watch TV, you know?
Freddie, I have like 1, 2, 3. I have like 6 tabs open. It's not too many. And my laptop is barely ever gets used except for doing lives. So
That's
I
the
don't
only
know.
time I get on mine too. I want a
Yeah.
computer, a big, or like a regular computer. But
I know. Like a
I don't know
desktop.
how to work them.
Yeah. I don't know. I also like having my laptop.
Say it again.
Much easy. I like having my laptop. It's so much easier.
Yeah, I would probably gripe if I had a computer and not a laptop. I would gripe about it either way. But yeah, it is convenient to have to move it around and stuff.
Yeah. All right, let's continue here.
review of
In what time period?
at any time period? Did you look at the 2204
I did,
account
yes,
as well?
yes.
Okay. And although there were fluctuations in her business account, that account always had sufficient funds in it, correct?
That's not correct.
Okay. There was a period of time where it did not.
There are periods of time, yes.
And you also said that Eric was on this 5244 account that was being used for essentially business type stuff. And that was Kouri's business, not Eric's. Is that correct?
You're asking me a couple of things.
Okay, sorry, I'll slow down.
That's okay, no, it's fine, it's fine. He's on the signature card. So when an account is opened, he signed as an authorized signer, she signed as an authorized signer.
Okay. So he would have, as an authorized signer, he would have access if he wanted to go review what that account was doing, correct?
Not necessarily. That all depends on how it's set up with the online access. Just because someone's an authorized signer doesn't mean that they can come in and walk into the bank and get any information they want.
Were you able to tell in this case?
Well, as I said, the bank statement does not say Eric and Kouri Richens, it says Kouri Richens. And looking at the transactions in the account before I looked at the signature card, it looked very much like a business account that Kouri would have.
And are you aware that Eric was in the stonemasonry business, correct?
That's correct.
And so he was, on some level, assisting her in the remodel or cleaning up some of these homes, correct?
That is not how I would term it.
I'm not saying financially. Are you aware that he was doing work on these homes?
I'm aware of one instance on the Franson Lane home in which he and Cody contributed about $133,000 toward the completion of the home, and my understanding is different than how you're portraying.
Okay.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Now, before we rest, we would ask that this be marked as soon as the street.
2 has not been.
No, and then, well, 3 was, I think she was just that.
Okay, that's fine.
We would ask this be marked as 3. This is the transcript of the jail call from May 8th.
Okay. Thank you. Brittany, we put 3 on that. Ms. Lazaro, any objection to admission of State's Exhibit 3 solely for the purpose of this detention hearing?
Not necessarily. I mean, only to the extent that I have not been provided a copy of any of the jail phone calls that I could find last night when I was searching.
Do you have any of the audio?
No, that have been provided in discovery. So,
all right.
I don't know what to do with that.
Well,
so I guess,
out of
yes,
fundamental
I would have
fairness for the defendant, and without having to address the need to postpone or continue this detention hearing, I am not going to consider that phone call. State's Exhibit 1, State's Exhibit 3, for the purpose of this detention hearing, is not.
Okay. And Your Honor, we have no further witnesses. However, we do have a victim impact statement from the victim representative.
Okay. If you could just name that person for us.
That's Amy Richens.
Amy, if you don't mind stepping forward to the podium. Good morning. Go ahead.
Dear Judge Mrazek, I'm here today to represent my brother, Eric Eugene Richens, whose life was taken in a senseless act of poisoning on March 3rd, 2022. His wife, the defendant, has been accused of committing this crime. If she is found guilty, she has committed the ultimate act of betrayal. Eric is gone, and I am brokenhearted. He was my best friend and protector. The feeling of loss is so great it is visceral. And with the sorrow comes a wave of panic and not being able to see him again. I can never talk to him, never hug him again, and never more be a part of his life. Eric's world revolved around his family, his love for hunting, the family cattle ranch, and his intense drive as a successful entrepreneur. Being born into the Richens legacy shaped Eric's formative years and resulted in a lifetime of hard work, dedication, and fierce loyalty. At an early age, Eric learned the joys of keeping horses and cows around. He spent countless hours helping our dad work the ranch, hauling hay, feeding the animals, and mending fences. He loved our family unconditionally and was a devoted son, brother, uncle, and father. Eric was a family man who always strove to be the absolute best father and husband. He was an attentive and loving father to his 3 sons and a devoted husband to his wife of almost 9 years, Kouri, the defendant. Eric did absolutely everything in his power to provide his family and his 3 sons with every possible opportunity to learn, grow, and have fun. He was the coach or assistant coach on all his boys' teams, which included soccer, basketball, and baseball. He spent countless hours coaching and teaching the boys to play aggressive and give it their all. Eric truly cared about every single child he coached and wanted the absolute best for all of them. There was never a dull moment when you were around Eric, whether it was him showing up to a family dinner with no socks or the sleeves torn off of his shirt because he had to make an emergency bathroom stop along the way, or his calling to tell you he rolled a 4-wheeler for the upteenth time is stuck and he needs you to come get him. It was never boring. Eric loved to have fun and always wanted to make sure everyone else did as well. He owned almost every motorized toy possible, from 4-wheelers and side-by-sides to trucks and snowmobiles, and was so excited to share those with his sons. He had the perfect combination of business sense and foresight. He built a very successful masonry business from the ground up and helped many friends do the same. He had a special ability to build close relationships with everyone he worked with, which really allowed his business to thrive. Eric loved every aspect of his job, but most of all, he loved the people he worked for and those he worked with. Eric faithfully supported organizations that he truly believed in. He never was one that wanted recognition or accolades. He did most things anonymously and without recognition. Eric was a true champion of all people. It did not matter if you were an employee, friend, family, or the next random person walking down the street. If you needed anything, you could count on him. He truly cared about each person he met. Eric loved fully, laughed loudly, and lived life with reckless abandon. He enjoyed great adventures to far-off places, but also cherished the small and finer things in life. No obstacle was too great for Eric. He simply viewed each one as a challenge. No peak was too high, and the next adventure was always just around the next bend. Words cannot describe the loneliness and loss that is felt in every heart that was lucky enough to know him. Eric was such an inspiration and role model for us all. His loss has created a Grand Canyon-sized hole in this community. Except instead of taking millions of years to slowly form, our worlds changed overnight. His 3 boys' entire worlds and their perspectives on life changed. None of our lives will ever be the same. Eric died under horrendous circumstances. I am tormented at the thought of what he endured. I play it out in my mind. I go through the terrible sequence of events. I wonder when he realized he was in mortal danger. I wonder what Kouri may have said to him in his last moments. How long was he conscious, knowing he would die? Where were Eric's boys when all this happened? Did they hear Eric's body fall to the ground? Did they catch a glimpse of their father taking his last breath? It's torture to think of. Why did Eric lose his life? Why did the boys lose their father? Was it because of Kouri's greed and desire to get life insurance and other assets? If so, that is abhorrent. How could anyone value life, human life, so cheaply? I cannot comprehend it. I'm overflowing with grief and pain at the thought that Eric meant so little to her. If Eric had died because of an illness, he would have been cared for. He could have looked after him and been with him. If he had died because of an accident, people would have tried to help.
Those are
There would have been
crocodile tears,
kindness.
lady.
But there's no comfort to be had here. There's no consoling thought in the way Eric died. In his last moments, after being intentionally poisoned, he was faced with betrayal and terror. The thought of it is unbearable. I am haunted by the horror of it. This last year has been a living hell for our family. We have watched as Kouri has paraded around portraying herself as a grieving widow and victim while trying to profit from the death of my brother. Both by trying to profit from a book about his death and trying to get life insurance and assets that should go exactly where Eric wanted them to his boys. Immediately after Eric was killed, Kouri told us she could not help us get anything ready for the funeral as she was too distraught with grief.
Mm-hmm.
We shortly found out that was not true at all. In fact, she pulled herself together enough to go close on the purchase of a $2 million home, hire a real estate agent, hire an architect to create CAD drawings of the home, hire a lawyer in order to file a lawsuit on Eric's trust, hire a locksmith to come break into and clean out my brother's safe, and
Oh my
attempt to have
God.
Eric cremated. She mustered up the strength and resolve to do most of this within 48 hours of his death. Kouri assaulted me. I will never forget
She
the
was
look in her
busy.
eyes when she attacked me that Sunday morning. It was early and had been snowing most of the night. I was just getting ready to leave and heading out to the car when I saw a locksmith in Eric's detached garage starting to drill out his gun safe. I asked Kouri multiple times why we could not just call my dad for the code. I could not understand why she was breaking into and ruining Eric's safe. To this, she screamed at me at the top of her lungs, called me some inappropriate things I cannot share with you here, and then told me to get out of her house. It was then that I told her that she could not kick me out of my brother's house. My sister Katie was now the executor of Eric's trust and estate, and just like Eric, she would not want the defendant breaking into his gun safe. Kouri looked at me with pure hatred and rage. I was messing up her plan. I was getting in her way, and because of that, she attacked me. She punched me in the face and neck multiple times. It took 4 people to pull her off me that day.
Yeah, we're going to cover that.
Before the funeral,
In the next
Kouri opened
live.
a bank account and asked everyone that was grieving to send her money instead of sending the family cards and flowers. It was not even 2 weeks after Eric's passing that we were told she had taken down all but one photo of my brother and removed all his clothing from the house. Kouri put together a golf tournament in Eric's name 2 months after his death on what would have been his 40th birthday and told his family, all of us, that we were not allowed to attend. Since Eric's death, it has come to our attention that Kouri took out multiple life insurance policies on Eric without his knowledge. It appears that she forged his signature on various documents, assigned herself as Eric's durable power of attorney, inappropriately diverted money from his business to herself, and assigned herself as beneficiary of Eric's portion of our mother's retirement account. I should also not forget to mention the multiple life insurances she has taken out on the boys. Her most recent business venture was authoring a children's book about how to help grieving children cope with the loss of the death of a parent. In this book, she had the audacity to use the boys' real names and even use their last family portrait. Her behavior gives me great concern, as she has exploited the boys for money and will likely do so again. In addition, Kouri has weaponized Eric's children, manipulating my dad to do or not do things by threatening to cut him out of their lives if he did not capitulate to her demands. She similarly deprived the boys of contact with myself, my sister, and her daughters, unless we agreed to give her the money in Eric's trust. Money that Eric wanted to go to his 3 children. As if that were not enough, I have been told that Kouri started telling their 3 little boys that none of Eric's family or friends loved them. She apparently told them none of us cared for them or wanted to be around them, even though that is the exact opposite
Good
of what is
God.
happening. We all want nothing more than to be there for those 3 little boys, my nephews, yet Kouri has made sure to cut us out of every aspect of their lives. This is all just a brief summary and the start of what our family has been through over the last year. We have scarcely gone a day without finding out some new allegations or evidence regarding something Kouri appears to have maliciously done to attack and undermine my brother, his 3 little boys.
She is, to me, also very much reminds me of Alex Murdaugh, with the financial crimes, the selfishness of not wanting to get caught. Just the drugs. Damn, lady.
Our family. We have all been there since the beginning of Kouri's and Eric's relationship. I was there on one of their first dates.
Narcissist, yep.
We were there at the wedding. We were there when each of the boys were born. We have been there for every birthday party, school graduation, and rodeo. We welcomed her into our family and treated her as one of us. Not only did she betray our brother, it feels as though she has murdered and taken away a part of our souls as well. Because of her actions, there has not been a day that has gone by we have not lived with paralyzing anxiety and fear, worrying for the boys' lives as well as our own. I may be naive, but I never knew evil like this existed. If Kouri was in fact willing to kill Eric for money, who's to say that what she will not do? Who would be next? Kouri was in a desperate financial situation when Eric was killed, and that situation seems even worse now. We understand that she has defaulted on loans and is already a defendant in other lawsuits based on her financial misdeeds. I am truly concerned that she will stop at nothing to dig her way out of the problems, including murder. She seems devoid of moral sensibility, and there is no telling what she will do if she is released. Judge Mrazek, her fate lies in your hands.
And
Please do not allow
obviously,
Kouri to use the fraudulent life insurance
we
proceeds
saw
to get
witness
on bail.
tampering.
That would be morally reprehensible. Please do not allow Kouri to take advantage and make a mockery of our justice and legal system anymore. She has done enough. Please do not allow Kouri to hurt Eric's memory, our family, friends, and community anymore. We have been through enough. Please do not give Kouri the opportunity to hurt Eric's 3 boys anymore. They have lost enough and have been through enough. Since Eric's death, we have learned and unfortunately are continually reminded that Kouri is desperate, greedy, and extremely manipulative. If she gets out on bail, I will be afraid not only for my own life and those of all of my family, but most importantly for the lives of Eric's 3 sons. Our family has already suffered enough. Please do not let Kouri out on bail where she will be a risk to do further harm. Please protect what Eric put his life on the line for, his 3 boys. Thank you.
So well spoken. Good job.
Ms. Lazaro, is the defense calling any witnesses?
I am not. I guess what I'd like to do is just largely have the court review the briefing and the attached exhibits be submitted and considered as part of this, but I don't intend to put on any further evidence.
All right. Would you like an opportunity to make any closing argument for today, Ms. Lazaro?
Yes.
Why don't we have defense go first, and we'll just give the state the last word.
Thank you.
Okay.
I guess I'd start with whether or not the court has any specific issues they would like me to address.
No, I mean, candidly, there's a threshold legal issue here, right, that comes out of the briefing, and the state has been candid about the pending Barnett case. I listened to the oral arguments
Correct.
before the Supreme Court. I think the state is wise to request a ruling in the alternative, but I'm persuaded by the defendant's position that as a matter of law, while a defendant charged with a capital felony supported by substantial evidence does not have a right to bail, they can nonetheless request bail, and the district court retains discretion, at least under the current status of the Utah Code, to consider the request. So fast forward past that.
I will do so. And don't necessarily disagree with what may or may come out of that. case that's up on appeal. With regard to the sufficiency of the evidence, I mean, we're here because of a really tragic circumstance, and I don't think any of us want to forget that. I mean, especially my client. She loved her kids, she loved her husband, but she's also charged now with his murder. And so I just don't necessarily want that to get lost on the court, that we understand the gravity of the situation. With regard to the evidence, I'm going to skip through most of it. I think the most important thing, if she poisoned him, is did she ever get it from CL? Was it ever requested from CL? I don't think the state has been able to draw that nexus. I don't disagree that CL was buying drugs. I think that's clear. She has a history of being a drug distributor. She was jammed up on 4 first-degree felonies. She had a potential federal case hanging over.
Well, Triple L, I think that's the closest we've gotten to a name. So instead of saying blank, 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 we can now say at least CL, right? That's when we read out the arrest or the search warrant.
Could you hear me talking? No?
No.
I think I was on mute. Sorry. I was saying, yeah, that sounds right. The CL.
Yeah. In fact, I think I can put that in the notes. Let me try. Oh, I don't know if it's I was gonna put CL as possible. Dealer, but I don't know if the notes will save, so we'll see.
Okay.
Let me see when I'm done with this, if you can see this. There's no save option. Okay, if you go to the notes on StreamYard. Do you see it?
I do not see notes.
Like on the right-hand side where you see comments, banners. I think. Or actually, I don't know what you see on your end. If not, that's fine. And I'll just handwrite it, actually. All right, let's continue here.
And, then when they look at her phone, they find evidence of additional drug distribution as an entirely new charge. Pursuant to essentially the detective's testimony, is they walked her down the line of, I need more evidence. This is what I need to know.
Thank you, Freddie.
Evidence to her essentially until she got it right, and then she was released. When we look at the cell phone mapping, yes, we know that she went and picked up a check. We know that she was cleaning houses. We know she cashed a check. We know she picked up drugs. But they can't put her anywhere in the same vicinity of Kouri's phone, because apparently the mapping's not available from Verizon, which somewhat surprises me, given it's Verizon.
I think it's a length of time between the event and the request.
Correct. But they have corroborating evidence for all the things about her buying and selling fentanyl. They have zero corroborating evidence for anything related to Kouri requesting it or giving it to Kouri. She didn't tell anybody that she was buying it for Kouri. She never had anybody with her when she dropped it off. There's nothing to make the most important correlation in this, and that's that it was ever provided to Kouri, that Kouri ever requested it. There was no fentanyl or trace fentanyl found in the home anywhere. And I think that's significant. I think if she had gotten 30 pills on at least 2 separate occasions, that's a lot of fentanyl. I mean, if one's lethal, right?
Yeah, it was 5 times.
And nothing is found, no trace.
5 times the limit.
Absolutely nothing. So I think the state's making a big leap in their evidence by saying, look, we have this girl, we know she's
That's insane.
fentanyl, but there's nothing to corroborate anything she says that ties it to Kouri. The glass, Kouri tells him she made him a drink, right? The glass is there. No one thinks to bother to.
Where's the evidence that the glass is present?
Well, they didn't look for a glass, I guess is what I should say.
Okay.
So no glass was tested. So there's nothing to show that Kouri did anything to Eric. And by Detective O'Driscoll's testimony, it could have been accidental. I mean, it very well could have. And I think that given the evidence presented today is a very plausible situation. Being bad with money does not make you a murderer. Being bad at managing your accounts, makes you bad at math, but it doesn't make you a murderer. The other thing I think that's significant is by the testimony that came out today, the hard money loans that she owed, at least, far exceeded life insurance policy that was paid. And so even getting the life insurance money was not going to solve Kouri's problems, not even close to solving her problems. And so that evidence alone, while, maybe there's some other issues with Kouri's business, there's nothing to tie it to her having any motive or in any way being in a better position from Eric's death. In fact, she's in a worse position because of his death, because Eric had a business. He was continually making money. He was, from what it sounds like, the one putting the majority of the contributions into the joint account. So his death, from a financial perspective, has harmed her far more than any money that she gained from any life insurance. With that, I'll largely submit on the remainder of our briefing, because I trust the court has been through it all.
Yeah, carefully.
Thank you.
Ms. Consumpti.
Thank you, Honor. With respect to the no corroborating evidence, there's a lot of corroborating evidence that corroborates CL's statements. And I think one of the things that we have that said is, that she was primed and told what to say. But what really happened is she's, a year later, she's asked to consider what, if she remembered anything else, and she came back with, yeah, I remember more, and that's very typical of witnesses. It's typical of people that we have testified. And then you heard all the corroborating evidence, Your Honor, the matching with the cell phone records, matching with the mapping. Do we have CL putting the drugs in Kouri's hands? We do. We have a hand-to-hand that was testified to. So we have the evidence that Kouri got, or the defendant got the drugs. We also have the evidence that corroborates all or most of CL's story. We would have more if there weren't texts that were deleted. We have a great deal of information that was deleted, and that was deleted off of the defendant's phone. So I think that is sufficient evidence just for CL, and that makes CL credible. This idea that no glass was tested, well, if you look at the pictures that we have submitted, there's nothing there. It's a stage scene. How they can argue that Eric somehow consumed this himself? There's no glass, there's no baggies, there's nothing there that indicates that this was ever taken, the fentanyl was ever taken by Eric. And also to say it's accidental, 1 or 2 pills might be accidental. 20 or 5 times the lethal dose is not accidental, Your Honor.
Triple L?
Yes.
I have got to go get coffee.
Okay.
So I will be back in a few minutes.
Okay.
That is someone who wants Eric dead. And the person who benefited the most from Eric being dead is the defendant, or the person who thought she was going to benefit the most from Eric being dead is the defendant. She thought she was going to be entitled to Eric's estate. She didn't know that there was this trust that had put the money into Kouri Richens' name. So she's the one that thought on the day that Eric died that she was the one that was going to benefit. She benefited from the insurance policies. She thought she was going to benefit from more, and she thought she was going to benefit from Eric's estate. She tried to benefit from the other life insurance policy on Eric's business. That didn't happen. She also was in dire financial straits, Your Honor, writing checks on closed accounts or checks with no money in them. I know you cut me off, but that's significant.
It was in your brief.
I thank you. I understand, but that's significant because she was in dire financial straits. She was deep in debt, and the way to get out of that debt was to kill Eric Richens. She benefited financially, and she had many cases, and we talk about this all the time, prosecutors say we don't need motive. This case has motive. This case has motive that she needed to get out of this debt, and that's the reason she killed Eric, in hopes of getting his estate, in hopes of getting his life insurance policies, and that, Your Honor, we believe is substantial evidence.
All right. The issue before the court is whether defendant Kouri Richens should continue to be held without bail during the pretrial period. Defendant is charged, among other crimes, with aggravated murder under Utah Code 76-5202 sub 2. To convict defendant of this charge, the state must prove beyond a reasonable doubt at trial that defendant intentionally or knowingly caused the death of another individual under any one of the following circumstances: for pecuniary gain, or by means of the administration of a poison, or of any lethal substance. Under Article 1, Section 8 of the Utah Constitution, a defendant charged with a capital offense has no right to bail if there is substantial evidence to support the capital charge. And under Utah Code 7720-201 sub 3, a charge of aggravated murder is considered a capital felony for the purposes of determining bail during the period before the state makes an election whether to file a notice of intent to seek the death penalty. Accordingly, at this time, the aggravated murder charge in this case is considered a capital felony. Moving to the substantial evidence inquiry, having considered the evidence offered by the parties, both through live testimony today and by documents attached to their briefs, which the court has reviewed at length, and having had the opportunity to weigh the credibility of that evidence, the court determines the state's evidence, notwithstanding contradiction by defendant's evidence or arguments, could support a reasonable jury reaching a guilty verdict on the charge of aggravated murder. Indeed, a jury could reasonably choose to rely on the state's evidence regarding means and motive and consciousness of guilt, which includes evidence showing that Eric Richens died of fentanyl ingestion, that he was not known to be a user of illicit drugs other than the occasional THC gummy, that defendant purchased 15 to 30 fentanyl pills from CL approximately 1 month prior to Eric Richens' death. Cell phone mapping confirms, or at least indicates to a reasonable jury, that CL's phone was near the Maverick and Draper on February 11th, and that while there, CL's phone made calls to acquaintances, capital A acquaintances as listed in the testimony and the information, and sent texts to defendant Kouri Richens, and that CL's phone then traveled to Francis and then returned, was in Francis and then returned to Heber. We have CL's sworn testimony that she handed the fentanyl that she acquired to Kouri Richens in a hand-to-hand transaction in her driveway. We also have motive. At the time of Eric's death, defendant knew how the premarital agreement would operate, but was not aware that Eric had changed his estate plan. So at the time of Eric's death, defendant's subjective understanding was that she would get a greater share of the marital estate if Eric died during the marriage, as opposed to what she would receive under the premarital agreement if the parties divorced. Moreover, evidence admitted in the case shows that in the months leading to Eric's death, defendant's personal and business accounts were overdrawn. She was making significant recurring debt payments, many of which were to hard money lenders, and that her lines of credit or lines of credit available to her were maxed out. And at the time of his death, Eric's life was insured for approximately $1.2 million, not including the policy related to the buy-sell agreement, with defendant listed as the beneficiary. Moreover, we have evidence from which a jury could reasonably infer consciousness of guilt. We have evidence regarding the search history that was extracted from defendant's second phone after her first phone was seized. And then we have inconsistent statements made by defendant as compared to other evidence in the case regarding whether she called 911 immediately, whether she performed CPR, whether she did something else for the 15 minutes between discovering Eric dead and calling 911. In considering this evidence, a jury could reasonably choose to discount and find unpersuasive defendant's efforts to poke holes in the state's case, and in so doing, a reasonable jury could reach a verdict of guilty beyond a reasonable doubt on the charge of aggravated murder based on the state's evidence. For these reasons, the court determines there is substantial evidence to support the capital felony charge of aggravated murder against the defendant in this case. Having made that determination, the court considers whether it has discretion to grant defendant bail, notwithstanding that she has no right to bail under Article 1, Section 8 of the Utah Constitution. And having considered the arguments and authorities cited in the parties' briefing, the court determines as a matter of law
I'm back.
that in the case of a capital felony that is
Okay, we're still here.
while the defendant does not have a right to bail, the defendant may nonetheless still request bail, and the district court has discretion to grant bail if the circumstances warrant doing so. But the circumstances of this case weigh soundly against granting pretrial release of any kind. First, defendant is charged with aggravated murder, which carries the possibility of sentences as severe as the death penalty and no less severe than an indeterminate prison term of 25 years to life. The severity of those sanctions, the severity of the sanctions that follow a conviction for aggravated murder creates a powerful incentive for a defendant to resort to desperate acts that might include harming themselves, harming the members of their family, or harming witnesses in the case. Because an incentive this powerful cannot be adequately managed in the community, it weighs heavily against granting any form of pretrial release. Second, the state has offered substantial evidence that defendant procured fentanyl on more than one occasion, and on at least one occasion deployed that fentanyl to cause the death of another person. As a general matter, an individual who is capable of this kind of decision-making is not a good candidate for supervision in the community. More specifically, given the uniquely dangerous nature of fentanyl, which has been demonstrated tragically by events in Summit County, defendant's alleged conduct, as supported by substantial evidence, is especially dangerous. Indeed, these circumstances constitute clear and convincing.
Freddie, I don't know if you're seeing Triple L's comments. Also, Triple L, I think from what I'm seeing in chat, I see like the Facebook logo next to it. So I don't know if it's going to Facebook and not YouTube.
Well, on my
I don't
end,
know.
I see. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear? Oh, okay. On
Yeah,
my
I
end,
can
it
hear you.
shows a comment from the YouTube and then also my Facebook
Oh,
on my
just
end.
shows. Okay.
But if
So I see
you, I don't know.
Facebook, and then I see YouTube.
Because like every time I post a comment, I see double from both, on mine. I didn't know if y'all were seeing that or not.
Oh, yeah, there is double. Okay. I was just wanting to make sure that she was seeing your comments.
Yeah, it's
Um,
okay. I figured she's
I
probably
do.
doing something else,
Yeah, and Freddie,
listening.
don't say where you live. I just don't. I don't like doxing people out like that. But she's in Eastern time zone, so I'm in Pacific. Triple L, you're in Central, and she's in Eastern.
So is she like an hour?
She's an hour
behind
ahead
me?
of you.
Oh, ahead of me. Oh, good grief. So y'all are 3 hours different,
So
right?
I'm 2 hours behind you.
Right. Oh, and she's an hour ahead of me.
Yeah.
So that makes okay. I'll have to figure it out later.
We need to get somebody now mountain and we'll hit the entire country.
Right.
And then Alaska and Hawaii. Hawaii's like 6 hours behind you.
Yeah,
we're gonna rule the nation.
We're gonna have a show for every time zone.
Who's in Mountain?
What?
Mountain, that's what, like Western Texas,
Tennessee,
and New Mexico. I don't think I
Oh,
know
okay,
anybody there.
that way. Yeah.
Arizona, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I know to the
I don't
right
know.
of me, they're like ahead an hour, like going Tennessee, like going that way. It's Florida. They're like
Only way I know that part of Texas is a mountain is because when I worked for the insurance company, we had insurance agents. One that lived in like Western Texas, that he was in mountain, and having to do I literally did with all calendars for all of our agents across the country. So booking appointments was fun.
Yeah, it's always hard with those different time zones. And El Paso is in that time zone also.
They're a
I know that.
mountain.
Yeah, they're an hour something behind us. Me, I
Yeah,
think, or
mountains
ahead.
behind you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think they're just an hour.
Your roots are from Texas.
Oh,
Excellent.
good.
We're going to
Good
rule
deal.
the nation. Just you what? Just you wait. All right, here we go.
Okay.
Convincing evidence that defendant would pose a substantial danger to the community if released on bail, a substantial danger that cannot be adequately managed by any combination of conditions of pretrial release that are available in Summit County. For these reasons, the
Oh
court
my
finds the
Lord, Willow's
circumstances of this
howling
case,
again.
as supported by substantial evidence, weigh soundly
I
against
was like, are those the kids from
the state's
you know
motion
where?
for pretrial detention is granted.
Mhm.
Defendant Kouri Richens
They're
shall
in
continue to be
school,
detained
thank
without
God.
bail during the time she
That's
awaits
good.
trial or other resolution of the criminal charges against her. Ms. Richens, you have the right to an expedited appeal of the court's ruling today. You must file a notice of appeal within 30 days of the court's ruling, and you have the right to be represented by counsel on that appeal. Let's pause there for a moment. Ms. Cassell, any questions?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Ms. Lazara.
No, Your Honor.
Hello. I've literally turned off like my TV, my Kindle. There's no, and Trent's not here. There's nothing clogging up Wi-Fi.
Are you prepared to set a preliminary hearing?
I don't think so, because I think just based on the state's briefing
Oh,
and
that's
evidence
good.
provided, there's a lot of stuff that I don't have yet, and probably need experts to look at, especially with regard to the phones.
Okay. What is a reasonable time to set a scheduling conference, understanding that I'm going to push counsel to move this case as fast as possible, given that Ms. Richens is in custody?
I understand that and appreciate it. I guess that question should be posed to the state as to when they think they can get me things. Like, I can't prepare without the evidence. I'm at their mercy at this point.
Can we check in on the 26th, just so you can tell me whether you think you've received everything the state has?
I will, yes.
Do you want to do it in the morning or the afternoon?
26th of June.
Yeah. So you know what? I'm looking at the wrong. I'm sorry.
That's a Monday, Your Honor.
You're right. You know what though? That's probably okay. Let me take a look here, folks. 1 second. What's that? You're right. Okay.
23rd, Your Honor.
We can. Can you get stuff turned around that quickly, Ms. Cassell?
Well, we
You believe you've given it all.
we have. Yeah,
Okay.
we have everything that we have. We put in our.
Well, we're going to find out. June 23, Ms. Lazara?
I'm out of town as long as I can appear via WebEx.
Okay.
And
Let's just go through.
We can also special set it.
um,
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to do this in an orderly fashion, and we're going to do it in stages. I appreciate your patience. Just listen to the deputies. Everybody in front of the bar, sit tight. The deputies are going to clear the gallery one section at a time first. Please just sit quietly and let them do their job. Thank you.
Your Honor, if you mind if Ms.
Yeah, we don't need to know all that. So, okay. So that is that then for this stream. So from what it looks like tomorrow, we'll do the next one for tomorrow. It'll be 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 12 p.m. Central Standard Time, and 1 p.m. Eastern is when I'll set the live for here in the next little while. I gotta kind of mess around with StreamYard, clean some things up on my end. Also want to see if I can do that dual streaming with the vertical streaming too.
I didn't know that on X. I guess you don't have to have a certain number of people. If you just get the membership, you can go live on X. Is what I just read.
If you just like
I
a
didn't know
paid
that.
membership.
Yeah, you like a paid subscription or whatever, and it says you get that. I don't know how much it is. I didn't look at that, but then you can go live. That's pretty cool. If it's true. I mean, I think it is. I don't know how much the subscription is. Let me see.
I didn't know you had to have a paid subscription. I thought you could go live on it.
Well, I just assumed you had to have all these followers and all that stuff, so I hadn't even looked at it.
Yeah.
Oh,
X is pretty toxic, but so is Facebook.
I just get on there because it has the most up-to-date stuff,
Yeah.
usually.
Yep. Yeah.
On stuff. The basic starts at $3 a month. Premium is $8. I think you got to have that one. Plus starts. I don't know. I'll have to look.
I think I might try and also connect to Facebook also on my end and get that. But you weren't able to do that until you logged into StreamYard, right?
Right.
When you got on panel?
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
But when I was messing around with it earlier, like I was going to do a live because I was just trying to look at stuff, I thought that I could set that up before I hit live, but I may be wrong. I can't remember.
I know when I set up the live, it asked me, to link to YouTube. So I wonder if I can do the link to Facebook.
That's what it is. And when you do that, there's an add button and you just add Facebook.
Yeah, I'll try and do that here in the next little while. So I probably won't set the stream up right away. So you got to give me some time I've got things to do. So it'll be later, you guys. But just plan on for those times tomorrow.
Okay.
I've got all the articles and videos and everything ready to go.
All right. Well,
I didn't email you everything, Triple L, just because I was going and listening at the same time. So I'll email you everything here later too.
All right. No hurry, no rush.
And then also, as a change of subject, I don't know if you guys watch Trisha Talks, but she's been covering Paul Canero trial.
Who's that?
He oh gosh, I can't think of what they nicknamed it, but it's New Jersey versus Paul Canero, and I think it was in 2018 or 19. He is accused of murdering his brother and his brother's entire family, like his brother's wife and their kids, and then setting their home on fire.
Dang.
And then also setting his own home on fire.
Good grief. I've been kind of out of the true crime loop for a little bit. I haven't seen that one.
It's like a family mass annihilator. Like I remember vaguely hearing about it, and then it was.
I think I remember too.
COVID. Yeah, it was crazy. And then like he worked for his brother. He was getting like they said yesterday, like $11,000 a month from his brother.
Dang.
He was also disabled. There was to be honest, I got really bored because they had like a CPA up on the stand for hours.
Yeah.
But it was financial crimes, you know.
Yeah. Murdoch-ish.
Very much. But I am going to head over there. I posted her link in chat earlier. I'm going to head over there and put that on and continue with her coverage.
All right. Well, thank you for having this today.
Yep. And I will see you guys tomorrow.
Okay. Bye. Thanks, Freddie, for coming in.
Bye, Freddie. See you tomorrow.
Bye.